Welcome back to Worlds of Protheka audiobooks. And if this is your first time, be warned. Once you step into Protheka, you'll never want to leave. With beasts who will stop at nothing to protect the women they love, and women who are only just finding out what a real man can be, you'll lose yourself in the dark romance of these fantasy stories. To bring you these free full audiobooks, we have to listen to this platform's guidelines, and they say that Protheka's steamiest scenes aren't allowed. But you can still get them from the unabridged version of any Prothekan audiobook. All you have to do is go to worldsofprotheka.com. With promo code YouTube30, we're offering you the opportunity to get 30% off of any audiobook, ebook, or bundle. We appreciate you subscribing to the channel, as it makes bringing these free full audiobooks to you possible. Don't forget to like and comment to let us know what you think. Protheka's magic is eternal, and this story is just the beginning.
Chapter 1. Mogor. I pray to the lunar goddess that this rotten piece of land is Rach. My lungs burn. I cough, and a torrent of icy black water erupts from my chest. The world comes back in a rush of pain, sand grinding into my raw skin, the roar of a violent surf, and a cold that seeps into my very marrow. I'm alive. The thought is a curse, not a relief. I drag myself clear of the waves, my body a mass of bruises. The beach is a graveyard of wreckage. Splintered masts and torn rigging from the storm shadow litters the shore. My nostrils flare, tasting the air. It's unmistakable. Rot, old blood, a faint sulfuric tang seeping up from a wounded world. My first thought should be for my clan brothers. Grook, Othik, Thoktar, all of them scattered like bones when the storm took us. Duty demands I find my kin, but the vow is louder than duty. I was only on that raider voyage to jump ship here anyway. This shipwreck has just saved me the trouble of desertion. My father, killed. My only lead, the words of a drunk in a tavern back home. Rach, go to the dark market. Coin can buy anything there. Even the name of a killer. It's the only words I have. I move inland. The trees are twisted, their bark peeling like diseased skin. Everything on this God's cursed continent wants to kill me. A chittering sound breaks through my focus. I stop dead. The forest has gone silent around me, the usual ambient noises vanishing. That's never good. I smell them before I see them. Musk and stale urine. Rodan. A pack of them bursts from the brush. They are vile things, rat-like but the size of large mountain cats. 6 of them. Finally, something tangible to hurt. The alpha leaps first, a screeching ball of mange and teeth. I don't even draw my axe. I catch it mid-air by its throat. Its momentum stops instantly. I squeeze. There is a wet crunch, and the creature goes limp. I toss the carcass aside. Another latches onto my forearm, its teeth sinking deep into my flesh. I roar, not in pain, but in pure, unadulterated fury. I rip it off, taking a chunk of my own skin with it, and slam it into the ground. Once, twice. It stops twitching. The remaining 3 hesitate. They smell the blood, theirs and mine. I am the predator now. I snatch my axe from my back and hurl it. It spins end over end, a blur of steel, and catches the slowest one in the spine, nearly cleaving it in 2. I retrieve my axe, wrenching it free from the ruined carcass with a wet sucking sound. My forearm throbs, bleeding sluggishly. I ignore it. I know now that this trash hole is Rach. The rodents just taught me that. Now I just need to find the market. I'm about to move on when I hear it. A new sound. Not the skittering of beasts, but a single sharp snap of a twig. I freeze, my axe already in my grip. 50 yards ahead, half hidden by a curtain of hanging moss, a figure crouches over a snare line. A human, dressed in ragged furs, a brace of suru slung over his shoulder. He doesn't see me. He's focused on his trap. Answers. I take one step, the soft mud sucking at my boot. The sound is enough. The hunter's head snaps up, His eyes, set deep in a face gaunt with hunger, go wide. He sees me, a 600-pound orc covered in mud and fresh rodent blood, axe in hand. He doesn't scream. He just drops his catch and bolts. "Wait!" I roar, my voice a useless thunder in the dense woods. He scrambles, terror giving him speed. He plunges into the thicket like a panicked deer. He knows these woods. He knows where he is going. I give chase. I crash through the undergrowth, branches whipping my face, my heavy boots pounding the earth. He's agile, weaving through thorns and ducking under low-hanging branches, while I have to shoulder my way through, shattering deadwood. "Stop!" I bellow again, gaining ground. He glances back, his face a mask of pure terror, and pushes himself harder. He's not just running wild. He's following a path. He leaps over a fallen log and vanishes into a wall of vines. I burst through the vines an instant later, ready to grab him and stop dead. He's gone. Vanished. I stand in a small, muddy clearing, growling in frustration. It's a crossroads, 3 paths diverging in the mud. Half buried in the sludge at my feet is a fallen, rotten wooden sign. I crouch, wiping the green slime from its surface. Crude letters are carved into the wood. The market. An arrow is carved below it, but the sign is broken, half submerged. The arrow points down into the mud, useless, its intended path a mystery. I look at the 3 paths again, one narrow and smelling of swamp, one disappearing into a dark thicket. And the one the hunter took, the widest path, churned by heavy traffic. He was running for safety. He was running to the market. The failed chase gave me the answer the broken sign could not. I grip the leather haft of my axe until my bloody knuckles ache, adjust the straps of my empty pack, and take the first step down the wide path.
Chapter 2. Lynn. I pull the rough wool of my hood lower, trying to melt into the shadows. It's useless. In the dark market, everyone is a shadow, and everyone is watching. My boots sink into mud that isn't just mud. It's thick with refuse, spilled ale, and the kind of filth I don't want to identify. The stench is a physical weight, a sickening miasma of unwashed bodies, rancid meat, and alien spices that sting my nostrils. Underneath it all is the sharp, metallic tang of blood and the constant, buzzing crackle of cheap chaos magic. It smells like desperation. This isn't a market. It's a sprawling, chaotic city of black tents and ramshackle stalls, all lit by the sickly, flickering glow of caged lumiolas that pulse with a faint, dying light. The noise is a constant din, haggling in a dozen guttural tongues, the hiss of steam from some unknown alchemical contraption, the low weeping from a cage hidden somewhere in the gloom. I hate this place. Every instinct screams at me to run, to go back into the forest and take my chances with the Rodan. But I'm out of options. I'm always running but getting sick of it. My last kill was wrong, but which ones were ever right? This conflict has taken root in my brain, and I just can't get rid of it. I did wrong, for coin and glory. Now. It haunts me. I will kill for coin no more. I force myself forward, pressing deeper into the crowd, my shoulder brushing against the scaled arm of a naga and the rough-spun tunic of a human. I pass a stall where a demon, his skin the colour of a fresh bruise, is haggling with a pale, gaunt Vraken over a crate of smoking, metallic plants that look like they're still screaming. Further down, I see it. A cage of whimpering humans, their eyes vacant, straw matted in their hair. A crude sign hammered to the bars just reads, "Fresh." A massive horned minotaur stands chained to a post with a for sale sign held up by a human female slave, wearing nothing but a short frayed piece of leather round her waist. "I am Rofan! Whoever buys me will pay the price. They will have their torn stick stuck down their own throat." The minotaur Rofan roars. A demon guard steps forward and plunges a spear made from a strange glowing metal into his arm. The giant minotaur slumps, foam streaming out of his mouth. "Gods, I will not end up in one of those cages. I will not let them put a collar on me. I just need to find a smuggler, buy passage on the first ship heading anywhere but here, and disappear. Before they find me, before the chieftain's son does. I clutch the small pouch of epia in my pocket. It's the last of my coin. It has to be enough. I spot what I need. A Naga merchant dealing in forged transport papers, his green-scaled hood pulled low as he whispers to a human customer. This is my chance. I merge with the flow of bodies, my hand tightening on the small pouch of ipia in my pocket, rehearsing the lie I'll tell. Passage to Tear. My master is waiting. Here is the coin. It's a thin story, but in the dark market, coin is the only truth that matters. I'm 10 feet away. 5. Then the crowd parts. A patrol of dark elves pushes through the mud. They aren't the usual lazy market guards, the ones with dull armour and sullen eyes who can be bought for a single daler. These are different. They are armoured in sleek black articulated plate, their movements sharp and precise. Mage hunters. The chaotic din of the market, the haggling, the weeping, the distant roars, drops to a terrified, muffled hush. The leader, a tall elf with dead violet eyes, stops. He's not looking at the crowd. He's sensing. He stands perfectly still, his head tilted, his pale hand resting on the pommel of a wicked-looking blade. Run! Run now! They know you. My feet are lead. I'm frozen, trapped in that dead, violet stare. He smiles. It's a terrible, slow unfolding of his thin lips. Stop, little spark, he hisses, his voice like silk sliding over steel. It cuts through the market's remaining hum. I bolt. I don't think, I just move. Adrenaline hits my system. I slam my shoulder into a rack of glistening, unidentifiable dried meats, sending the heavy carcasses crashing down into the mud between me and the hunters. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the wall of noise. Shouts in Elvish, sharp and angry. Get the spark. I vault over a stall piled high with glowing, pulsating fungi, my boots skidding on a slimy purple cap. The merchant howls in protest, but I'm already past him, shoving my way into the thickest part of the crowd. People curse and spin, but they get out of my way. A hiss crack sizzles past my ear, so close I feel the heat of it. The air smells like burnt metal and ozone. The chaos bolt strikes a cage of Rodan just ahead of me, blowing the rickety wooden door off its hinges. I use the chaos, ducking behind a massive fur-clad merchant who roars in surprise as a Rodan latches onto his boot. I sprint through the flesh market, past more cages. The smell of fear is suffocating, a thick animal musk that chokes me. I shove past a hulking orc who's arguing with a merchant, and he roars in surprise, turning on me with tusks bared. I don't care. He's another obstacle for them. I will not go in a cage. I will not let them put a collar on me. I will not. I will die first. My lungs are on fire. The mud is trying to suck the boots from my feet with every step. I can hear their armoured footsteps behind me, too fast, too steady. There, a dark, narrow alley between a canvas tent and a dilapidated wooden stall. It's a shadow, a sliver of darkness. It's a way out. I pour the last of my strength into one final burst of speed, faking left before diving right into the alley. I dive into the narrow gap, the rough canvas of the tent wall scraping my shoulder. The alley stinks of stale ale, old piss, and the overpowering musk of methink. It's a shadow, a sliver of hope. I sprint down the short, dark tunnel of refuse, expecting it to open onto another street, another chance to disappear. It doesn't. A high wooden fence, at least 10 feet tall and spiked with jagged iron, blocks the end. A dead end. I spin around, my breath soaring in my lungs, my heart a trapped bird against my ribs. The heavy, armoured footsteps stop at the alley entrance. 2 massive silhouettes block the only way out, eclipsing the sickly yellow light of the market. 2 guards, not the leader, just the muscle. They step into the alley, their boots sucking in the thick mud. They draw their short swords, the steel shining as it leaves the scabbards. One of them, a brute with a fresh scar on his jaw, is smiling. They think I'm trapped. They think I'm just another terrified human slave, cornered and weeping. He lunges, arrogant and sloppy, his blade aimed at my gut, expecting me to cower. They don't know what I am. I don't have time for complex magic. I don't want to use it, to drain my reserves when the leader is still out there. I drop, my body moving on pure instinct, ducking under the lazy thrust. My leg sweeps out, catching his ankle. He stumbles, surprised, his lunge turning into a clumsy fall. He's not fast enough to recover. As he goes down, I slam my palm upward, not with my full power, but with a single, sharp, focused kinetic pulse. I aim for the soft spot just under his jaw, right where his gorget meets his chin. It connects. It's not a loud blast, it's a sickening thud, like a hammer hitting wet leather. His eyes widen in shock. A choked, gurgling sound escapes him as his windpipe collapses. He claws at his throat, his sword clattering uselessly on the muddy ground, his body convulsing. One down. The second guard stops dead. His smile vanishes, replaced by a snarl of disbelief as he looks at his partner twitching in the filth. He raises his sword, more cautiously this time, his eyes narrowed. He's assessing me. I'm weaponless. My magic is my weapon, but a full blast will alert the leader, and I need my strength. I need an equalizer. My eyes dart around the alley. Filth. Refuse. And a half-empty crate of rotten Burgona tubers, the blue-skinned potatoes reeking of mildew. It's pathetic, but it's something. He takes a careful step forward, blade held low, ready for another trick. I don't wait. I grab the heavy, splintered crate with both hands and hurl it at his face. He grunts in surprise, forced to raise his shield arm to block the spray of rotten vegetables and damp, splintered wood. It's the opening I need. He flinches, his vision momentarily obscured. I don't run away from him. I charge at him, aiming for the gap between his raised arm and the alley wall, using the last of my momentum to burst past his fumbling grasp and back into the chaotic light of the market.
Chapter 3. Makor. The path is a river of mud, churned by heavy wagon wheels and the tread of countless boots. It stinks. The rot I smelled on the beach is stronger here, mingled with the foul odors of unwashed bodies, animal musk, and something sharp and sickly sweet like burning honey. This must be the road to the dark market. My axe is heavy in my hand, its leather grip slick with my own drying blood from the rodent fight. I am a target out here, a lone orc walking into the heart of slaver territory. Let them come. Let them see what an iron-tusk warrior does to those who bar his path. I round a bend, pushing aside a low-hanging branch dripping with foul-smelling sap, and I freeze. He's just there, standing in the middle of the road, not 20 yards away, a dark elf. He's small for his kind, slender and wrapped in robes of deep blue and gray that look absurdly clean for this trash hole. He's young, his face smooth and unscarred, and he's watching me. He isn't moving. He isn't reaching for a weapon. He's just waiting. My blood ignites. The rage is instantaneous, a red haze that floods my vision. Elf, this is the enemy. The race that has hunted us down for centuries, that has shattered clans. He's kindling for my fire. I don't shout, I don't warn him. I raise my axe, my shoulders bunching, and I charge. The mud explodes from under my boots as I thunder down the path, all 600 pounds of my rage aimed at splitting him from skull to navel. I'm 10 yards away. 5. I can smell him now. A bizarre scent that cuts through the rot of the forest. Not the oily sulfur of dark elf magic, but something clean, like rearsed herb and exotic spices. He doesn't move. He doesn't draw a blade or conjure a shield. He just holds up one slender, unarmored hand. "Peace, warrior," he calls out. His voice is not a sneer or a command. It's musical. A high, charming sound like a lyre playing in a tavern. The word stops me. Peace. It's so unexpected, so absurd that my charge falters. I skid to a halt in the mud, my axe still raised, my breath a cloud of hot steam in the damp air. I tower over him. He has to crane his neck to look up at me. He is, without question, the weakest-looking elf I have ever seen. But he isn't afraid. He's smiling. "Talk fast, elf," I growl, the sound tearing from my chest. My muscles are coiled, screaming to finish the swing. "Before I split your skull." "A beautiful skull, you'll agree," he says, his smile widening, showing perfectly white teeth. "But a terrible waste. I am not your enemy. You are an elf. You are my enemy." "Am I?" He cocks his head, his long crimson hair shifting over his shoulder. "You charge toward the dark market like a bull, all fury and iron. It's a place of sin, yes, a place of depraved pleasures." He leans in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "But it is also a place of secrets. You look like an orc who needs a secret." My grip on the axe tightens until the leather groans. "What secrets?" I snarl. "The best kind," he says, his bright indigo eyes sparkling with mischief. "The kind that are bought with blood, or coin." He glances at my torn, shipwrecked leathers, my empty pack. "You look fresh out of coin, my friend. But you have blood in spades. You seek revenge, don't you?" I'm so stunned I can't move. He is either a sorcerer of impossible power, or he is insane. "Who are you?" I demand. The point of my axe lowers an inch, but I keep it ready. This is a trick. It has to be. "Me?" He places a hand over his heart in a gesture of absurd sincerity. "I am nobody, but some call me the Wild, a believer in, well, peace and love, and all the lovely, messy things in between. I'm here to enjoy the wonders of this beautiful, rotten world." Peace, love. This elf is mad. A mad elf is more dangerous than a sane one. I raise the axe again. I am done with this game. "No, wait," he says, holding up both hands. "You are not, I assure you. Think, Mogor." I freeze. He used my name. I never told him my name. "How?" "No need to get into that right now," he says smoothly. "A hunter passed me a moment ago, terrified out of his skin. Said a bloody orc warrior was on his heels." He gestures down the path I was about to take. "You go in there like that, all tusks and rage, and what happens? You won't find your secret. They will see you, and they will see a slave, or a gladiator, or a target. You won't last an hour. You'll be in chains or dead before the sun sets, and your revenge will die in the mud with you." "Get to the point, elf," I say. "I," he says, "am small. I am palatable. They see me and see a customer, perhaps a victim, but never a threat. But I cannot walk through the market's worst alleys alone. They would cut my throat for these pretty boots." He taps his foot. "But with you as my guard, they will see respect. They will open doors. They will step aside." He beams at me, the expression utterly alien on a dark elf's face. "Be my bodyguard, great orc. Guard me safely through the market, and I will be your guide. I will get you to the people who sell the secrets you bleed for." The silence stretches, broken only by the drip of water from the diseased trees and the distant, muffled sound of the market. A trick. It's a trick. He's a dark elf. They only deal in lies and chaos magic. I should kill him now and take my chances. It would be cleaner. "I smell a trap," I growl. "Oh, it's all a trap, my friend," the Wild says, his laugh like the chime of little bells. But it's the only one that leads to what you want. I stare at him. I can still kill him if he moves wrong. But he's right. I need a guide, and he needs a shield. A temporary, hateful alliance. Fine, I snarl. I will be your guard. Excellent, he beams. And if you betray me, I interrupt, leaning down until my bloody tusks are inches from his perfect pale face, I will wear your spine as a necklace. He doesn't even flinch. He just laughs again. Splendid. I would expect nothing less. Now shall we? We have so many wonderful, terrible things to see. Now let me tell you a story as we walk about the time I fooled a troll into letting me Roger his mate. Ah, trolls don't exist, I say. Oh yes, my friend, they do, the Wild replies.
Chapter 4. Lynn. The hand that grabs my arm is iron hard, yanking me backward with brutal force. I spin, a kinetic blast already forming in my palm, but another hand clamps onto my wrist, twisting until pain shoots up my arm, and the magic dissipates into useless sparks. Got you, little spark. The violet-eyed leader hisses, his face inches from mine. His breath smells of cloves and rot. Did you really think a crate of tubers would save you? I thrash, kicking, trying to break his grip. My boot connects with his shin, a solid hit that would drop a normal man. He doesn't even grunt. His free hand comes up, fingers weaving a pattern in the air that makes reality shimmer and crack. Suppression magic. It hits me hard. The ether, which has been my companion since childhood, suddenly snaps away from me, a door slamming shut. I'm blind, deaf, powerless. No! The word tears from my throat as panic floods my system. Yes. He purrs, nodding to his men. Bag her. Carefully. She's valuable. 2 more guards converge. One produces a thick burlap sack that reeks of mildew and old blood. The other grabs my legs when I try to kick again. Stop, please! I hate the pleading in my voice, but terror overrides pride. I'll go quietly, just don't... The sack goes over my head, plunging me into suffocating darkness. Strong hands lift me, carrying me through the market like a sack of grain. I hear the crowd's reaction before I see anything. Laughter, jeering. The wet sound of something being thrown, rotten fruit, from the smell, that hits the sack near my head. Screw her! Bloody humans! Stick a spear up her hole and give us all a good laugh. How much for her? I'll pay double. The sack is ripped away as suddenly as it came. I blink against the sudden assault of light, my eyes watering. I'm being held up, displayed like a trophy, in front of a growing crowd of merchants and slavers who have gathered to watch the entertainment. Show us her tits. The violet-eyed leader holds me aloft by my arm, his grip unbreakable. Let this be a lesson, he announces, his voice magically amplified to carry across the market. The guild always collects its property. The crowd cheers. They love this, a public shaming, a reminder of the order of things in this wretched place. I'm thrown, not gently, into the back of a prison cart. The impact drives the air from my lungs. Iron bars slam shut behind me with a sound like a death knell. The lock clicks, heavy, final. I scramble to my knees, gripping the bars, my fingers finding no purchase on the cold, unyielding metal. The suppression runes etched into the iron framework glow a sickly green, pulsing in rhythm with my racing heart. No! I gasp, pulling at the bars, even though I know it's useless. Please! Anaga leans close, his face twisted with cruel amusement. Begging won't help you now, girl. You're doomed now, girl. Someone throws something else. This time it's feces, thick and rank, that splatters through the bars, hitting my face, my hair. More laughter, more jeering. "Look at her! Thought she was special!" "Magic won't save you in the dark, witch." The cart lurches forward. The draft beasts strain against their traces, their hooves sucking in the thick mud as the driver cracks his whip over their heads. I grip the bars tighter, watching the market slip past. Every face in the crowd is turned toward me, some laughing, some leering, some simply indifferent. I'm not a person to them. I'm a cautionary tale, a reminder that no one escapes the guild. The violet-eyed leader walks alongside the cart for a moment, his pale hand resting almost gently on the iron bars. "We'll have a long talk when we get to the compound, little spark. About where you've been, what you've seen, who you've killed." His eyes bore into mine, and I see my fate reflected there. Not just slavery, not just the mines. Interrogation, torture. They'll peel back every layer of my mind until they find what they're looking for. The names of my contacts, the locations of safe houses, the weaknesses of anyone who ever helped me. And then, when I'm broken and useless, they'll sell what's left to the highest bidder. The chieftain's face flashes in my mind. His last words, rasped through blood and agony. "My son will avenge me." I close my eyes, hot tears cutting tracks through the mud on my face. Maybe this is justice. Maybe this is what I deserve for the blood on my hands. The cart trundles through the market's southern gate. The crowd's laughter fades behind us, replaced by the creak of wheels, the plodding rhythm of the draft beasts, and the driver's occasional curse. We're leaving the market proper now, heading down a narrow forest road toward... where? The compound the leader mentioned? The southern mines? It doesn't matter. I am caught. I am collared. Not physically yet, but the suppression magic clinging to the cart's bars is just as effective. I can't cast. I can't fight. I can barely think through the suffocating weight of my own despair. I sink down into the corner of the cage, drawing my knees up to my chest. The iron floor is cold, damp with old blood and other things I don't want to identify. I thought I could disappear, thought I could outrun them, cleanse my sins and disappear into the market. Reinvent myself. It was the only place I thought I'd be safe among the other sinners. But it seems the price on my head and the magic in my hands is worth more than I thought. I am lost. The cart hits a rut, jostling me against the bars. Pain flares in my shoulder, sharp and immediate. I welcome it. It's better than the numb, hollow ache spreading through my chest. This is the end. I press my forehead against the iron, my lips moving in a silent prayer to gods I stopped believing in years ago. If there's any mercy left in this world, let it be quick. Let them kill me before they break me. Let me keep something of myself, even if it's just the memory of who I was before the guild found me in that tear slum. We leave the market behind and are soon out on the wide road that leads north. I'm already dead. I just haven't stopped breathing yet.
Chapter 5. Mogor. And when she came, her eyes literally popped out of her skull. The wild gestures grandly, his whole body committed to the story. Literally. They bounced down the ravine like two very large, very angry grapes. The troll, as you can guess, wasn't very happy. But they are big dumb lumps of trash. I grunt, only half listening. We're walking the muddy road toward the dark market, the wild leading the way with confident strides. He insisted this was the best approach. Walk in like we belong, not skulk through the underbrush like bandits. I'm beginning to think he just wanted an excuse to tell his deranged stories. You're not listening, the wild observes, not sounding particularly offended. You have that look, the one that says you're calculating how many elves you can kill before they overwhelm you. 17, I say automatically. Maybe 20 if I use the terrain. See? I knew it. He sighs dramatically. You orcs are so delightfully predictable. All honor and violence, no appreciation for the finer arts of... A sound cuts through his rambling. It's distant, carried on the wind that cuts through the twisted trees. A voice, high, desperate, feminine, screaming, not the scream of pain or terror, though there's terror in it, but the scream of rage, of someone fighting until their last breath. My feet stop moving. Every muscle in my body locks down, listening. There it is again. Raw, defiant, beautiful in its fury. Oh dear, the wild murmurs. That's coming from... I'm already moving. My boots pound the muddy road, carrying me toward that sound like iron to a lodestone. I don't think. I don't question. I just go. The wild's voice chases me. Mogo, wait! We should... Oh, bloody hells, here we go! The road curves ahead. Through a break in the trees, I see it coming toward us. The prison cart, rumbling down the road. 2 guards flank it on foot, while a third sits on the driver's bench, cracking his whip over the miserable draft beasts. Inside the cage, the woman is on her feet, gripping the bars, shaking them with a strength that shouldn't be possible for someone her size. She's screaming at them, words I can't make out from this distance, but the tone is clear. She hasn't given up. She's still fighting. Something in my chest tightens. Not the vow. Something else. Something that feels like recognition. Like seeing a reflection of myself in those desperate, defiant movements. I'm freeing her, I announce, not stopping my approach. The wild appears beside me, moving with that uncanny speed of his. That is a spectacularly bad idea. I'm still doing it. The wild runs ahead of me, actually putting himself in my path. Listen to me, you magnificent idiot. I admire the chivalry, truly, but those guards are just the escort. There will be more. Many more. And when you attack guild property, they send... Then let them send. I step around him. This is a very bad idea. The wild shouts after me. You said that already. Because it bears repeating. The guards finally notice me. One of them, a scarred human with the look of a career mercenary, drops his hammer and reaches for his sword. Stop right there, the guard yells. I don't slow down. I raise my axe, the heavy steel catching the filtered sunlight through the canopy. The woman's head snaps toward me. Our eyes meet for thee again, and the world explodes. It's not an external explosion. It's internal, primal, a detonation of every instinct I didn't know I possessed. The air between us doesn't just connect. It fuses, becoming something solid and unbreakable. Mate. The word reverberates through my skull, louder than the vow ever was, more absolute than any oath I've ever sworn. I see her eyes widen with the same recognition, the same horrified understanding. She feels it too. She staggers back from the bars as if struck, her hand going to her chest. Help me, she whispers. One of the guards charges me. Stupid. Brave, but stupid. I don't even slow down. My axe takes him in the shoulder, not a killing blow, just enough to drop him screaming in the mud. The second guard is smarter. He runs, crashing into the underbrush, abandoning his post. The third, the driver, scrambles onto his bench and cracks the whip, trying to get the beasts moving. I grab the back of the cart, my boots digging into the soft earth. The draft beasts strain, their muscles bunching, but they're pulling dead weight now. 600 pounds of enraged orc is an effective anchor. The cart stops. The driver falls from his bench, landing hard. He takes one look at my face and joins his friend in fleeing into the forest. I turn to the cage. She's pressed against the far bars now, as far from me as she can get in the confined space. Her eyes are wild, her breathing ragged. You saved me, she says, her voice cracking. I grip the iron lock. It's heavy, reinforced, meant to withstand a battering ram. I rip it off with my bare hands. You need to be with me, I say. The suppression runes flare, burning my palms. But I don't care. The bond is screaming at me to get to her, to protect her, to claim what fate has declared mine. The door swings open. She doesn't move. She just stares at me, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. Really? She asks. I'm very grateful, but That's a bit final. I step into the cage. The space is too small for me, forcing me to hunch. But I don't care. I reach for her. She flinches, but she doesn't run. Can't run. The bond won't let her any more than it will let me walk away. My hand cups her face, my thumb wiping away mud and tears. Her skin is soft, impossibly soft against my calloused palm. She's shaking, but she leans into the touch despite herself. Mine, I rumble. Not a question. A statement of fact written into the fabric of reality. You're very sure of yourself, she says. Mogor, I say, pointing to my thick chest. Really? The Wild remarks, Is this where we are at? Mogor, she says to me, her little face staring up to me, her hero. Behind me, the Wild's voice drifts through the trees. Oh, this is much worse than I thought. Mogor. Mogor, please tell me you're not... Oh, you absolute fool. You've gone and bonded, haven't you? I ignore him. I scoop her up, ignoring her weak protests, and carry her out of the cage. You're weak, hungry, no doubt. I will feed you, take care of you, I tell her. I'm actually starting to admire your technique. The Wild says, but I ignore him. All I see is her. Name? Lynn, she replies. Once I feed you, I screw you, Lynn, I tell her. Oh gosh, she mumbles. I've never seen a move like this in my life. I shall most definitely be applying it going forward. The Wild says. Human holes, warm and wet, I tell her. Quite so, the Wild says. You are becoming an orc after my own heart. I turn to the Dark Elf. I do not screw elves. I don't blame you. They mostly try to kill you after, the Wild states. Should we not be making haste? Lynn asks. I have business in the dark market. But I feed and screw you first, I say, turning toward the Wild. We meet here tomorrow. I don't think so. Time to be on my way. I wish all the best, the Wild says. But what about the secrets I need? Found only in the market? I ask. Ha! You step one foot in that place and the Naga outcasts will be selling your cooked flesh as orc on a stick, the Wild says. You couldn't have just bought her, could you? Had to go with the whole dramatic rescue? I have no money, I say, and she is not for sale. No, she certainly isn't now. The Wild gestures toward the road. They are coming. I can talk myself out of this, but you two have no chance. He gestures toward the forest. You go your merry way, and I'll go mine. I'm sure I'll find another dumb orc to walk my way. Hey, I shout, raising my axe. It's okay, Lynn says, touching my arm and easing it down. You saved me. We are together now. I lift her into my arms. We leave the Wild behind and disappear into the forest.
There isn't much left of the world after the orcs came.
Savage. Brutal. Merciless.
If you're a woman, you're property. Even to other humans.
What happens when an orc stakes his claim on a human woman? Who would dare to stop him?
Me. Chapter 6. Lynn. The forest swallows us whole. Mogor doesn't put me down. He just carries me, moving with a terrifying speed and silence for something his size. His massive arms are bands of iron around me, one under my knees, the other supporting my back. I can feel his heart hammering against his ribs, a war drum rhythm that matches my own panicked pulse. Behind us, I hear shouts. The other guards must have returned, found their fallen comrades, seen the shattered lock on the prison cart. They're coming, I gasp against his chest. Let them, he growls, not slowing. They will not touch you. The bond between us is a living thing now, a golden cord that I can feel stretching from my chest to his, pulsing with his protective fury and my terror and something else, something hungry and inevitable that I don't have a name for. Mate. The word echoes in my mind, not in my voice or his, but in something older. Mine. Ours. Claimed. This can't be happening, I whisper. Mate bonds are myths, fairy tales. Do I feel like a fairy tale? He rumbles, and I feel the vibration of his voice through my whole body. No, he feels solid, real, terrifyingly, overwhelmingly present in a way that no one has ever been before. I can feel his exhaustion from the fight on the beach, the dull ache in his forearm where the Rodan bit him, the burning intensity of his need to protect me. A horn blares in the distance, long, mournful, designed to carry through dense forest. The hunting call. Mogor's arms tighten around me. They found the cart. Put me down, I tell him. You can move faster without... No. Mogor, listen to me. No. The word is absolute, brooking no argument. I just found you. I will not lose you in the same hour. He adjusts his grip on me, shifting my weight so he can move faster. Despite everything, the exhaustion, the injuries from the beach, the sheer impossibility of what he's doing, he runs. His boots pound the forest floor, each stride eating up ground, carrying us deeper into the diseased wilderness. The horns sound again, closer. They're gaining, I whisper. You need to put me down. I need to run on my own. Can you? He asks, not slowing, his eyes scanning the terrain ahead. I want to say yes. I want to be strong for him. But my body is a wreck. 3 months of running, sleeping rough, eating scraps, and then the market chase, the capture, the terror. I'm running on fumes and stubbornness. I'll try, I whisper. He stops abruptly, setting me on my feet in a small clearing. His hands steady me when my legs threaten to buckle. Then he crouches, pulling his dagger from his belt. He presses it into my hand. If they reach you before I kill them, he says, his yellow eyes boring into mine, you use this. You fight. You do not let them take you alive. The weight of the blade is heavy, meant for hands much larger than mine, but I grip it, nodding. They won't reach me, I say, trying to sound more confident than I feel. Because you'll kill them first. Something fierce and possessive flashes across his face. Yes, I will. We move again, together now. I stumble over roots, my boots catching on thorns, but every time I falter, his hand is there, steadying me, pulling me forward. The forest opens ahead, revealing a narrow game trail that cuts through the dense undergrowth. It's the kind of path prey animals use, deer, suru rabbits, things that need to move fast. There, Mogor growls, pointing. We follow that. It will hide our tracks. But it doesn't, and before we have time to breathe, they are behind us. Mogor doesn't waste breath on words. He just turns and roars. It's a sound that vibrates in my teeth, a pure, untarnished challenge that makes the dark elves flinch despite their numbers. Then he charges. It is terrifying to watch. He is a landslide of muscle and steel, crashing into their front line with force that defies physics. Bodies fly. I hear the wet crunch of armour collapsing inward, the screams of the dying cut short. But there are too many. They swarm around him like angry wasps, their curved swords flashing. 3 peel off from the main group, their eyes locking onto me. They see easy prey. A small, exhausted human holding a dagger too big for her hands. I'm not prey. I'm the reason a warlord died screaming in his own stronghold. I reach deep, past the exhaustion, past the empty ache where my reserves usually sit. I find the dregs, the scraping, burning remnants of power at the very bottom of my soul. It feels like swallowing broken glass. Come on then. The first one lunges, his sword aimed at my throat. I don't try to block it. I drop, sliding under his guard into the blood-slicked mud. As I pass beneath him, I thrust upward with the dagger. It catches him under the jaw, punching through soft flesh and into his brain. Hot blood showers over my face, blinding me for a second. I scramble up, ripping the blade free, one down. The battle descends into pure chaos. It's a symphony of screams, clashing steel, and the wet, sickening sounds of butchery. Mogor is fighting 3 different elves at once, his axe a blur of deadly motion. He's bleeding from 6 shallow cuts, but he doesn't seem to notice. He is magnificent and terrifying, a god of war painted in crimson. I can feel him through the bond, a furnace of rage and adrenaline that feeds my own flagging energy. Every time his axe connects, I feel an answering thrum of savage satisfaction in my own chest. It's intoxicating. It's horrifying. I duck another swing, using a tiny burst of kinetic magic to shove my attacker off balance just as he strikes. He stumbles, opening himself up. I slash his hamstring, and when he falls, I finish him. I'm not fighting like a mage now. I'm fighting like a cornered rat. Mogor is getting overwhelmed. They are smart. They are using their numbers to flank him, darting in with poisoned daggers while he's distracted by their heavy hitters. I see one elf preparing a chaos bolt behind Mogor's back. The air around his hands warps, turning a sickening shade of violet. "Mogor, behind you!" I don't just shout. I throw my last scrap of power. It's not enough for a kill, but it's enough for a shield. A shimmering, translucent wall of force that snaps into place just as the chaos bolt flies. The bolt hits my shield and explodes in a shower of sizzling sparks. My head feels like it's splitting open from the magical backlash. I stumble, vision greying. Mogor spins, realizing what happened. He sees the mage who tried to shoot him in the back. He doesn't just kill him, he obliterates him, a single overhead swing that splits the elf from collarbone to navel. We are losing. We have killed half of them, but we are slowing down. I can barely lift my arms. Mogor is breathing heavily, blood streaming from a nasty gash on his thigh that's leaking greenish poison. A soldier, larger than the others, sees my weakness. He doesn't bother with a weapon. He just charges me, slamming his shoulder into my chest. Air explodes from my lungs. I fly backward, hitting a tree with enough force to make stars dance in my vision. I slide down the trunk, gasping, unable to draw breath. He stands over me, grinning. He raises a heavy spiked mace. Then the world goes black, blocked out by a massive, roaring shape. Mogor is there. He abandoned his own fight, taking 2 sword strikes to his unprotected back just to reach me in time. He catches the descending mace with his bare hand. The spikes tear into his palm, but he doesn't even flinch. He rips the mace from the elf's grip and headbutts him. The sound of the elf's skull cracking is louder than the battle. Mogor stands over me, his chest heaving, his blood dripping onto my face, mixing with the elf blood already there. He lets out a roar that isn't a challenge this time. It's pure, undiluted possessiveness. It shakes the remaining leaves from the trees. The surviving elves hesitate. They look at their dead leader, at the mountain of enraged orc standing over the small human, and their nerve breaks. "Run!" one of them shrieks. They scatter, fleeing back into the dense woods, leaving their dead behind. We don't wait to see if they regroup. "Move!" Mogor growls, hauling me to my feet with one bloody hand. We run. It's an agonizing, stumbling sprint through the thorny underbrush, away from the clearing, away from the trail. We run until my lungs feel like they are bleeding, until my legs simply refuse to take another step. I collapse near a stream, retching dryly. Every muscle is on fire. Mogor doesn't collapse. He stalks the perimeter of our small haven, axe still in hand, eyes scanning the trees. Only when he's sure we aren't being immediately followed does he turn to me. He looks terrifying, covered in gore, breathing hard, eyes wild with lingering battle lust. He stalks toward me. I flinch, expecting anger, expecting interrogation. He stops, towering over me, blocking out the sun. His gaze is heavy, physical. It tracks the blood on my face, the dagger still white-knuckled in my hand. "You fought," he says. It's not a question. His voice is rougher than usual, thick with something dark and heated. "I told you I would fight or die," I rasp, wiping blood from my mouth. "You saved me, with magic." I freeze. I used too much. I showed him too much. But he's not looking at me with suspicion now. The way he's looking at me makes my breath catch for an entirely different reason. It's hungry. It's the way a dragon looks at gold it just won in a firestorm. "You are small," he rumbles, crouching down so we are eye to level. The intense yellow of his eyes is almost completely swallowed by black pupils. "But you are not weak." He reaches out, a massive blood-stained thumb tracing the line of my jaw, smearing fresh red over old. "Mine," he growls, low in his chest. It's a terrifying sound. It's the best thing I've ever heard. He looks around, scanning the trees one more time. "We need shelter. Now, before they send more." He lifts me easily, cradling me against his chest despite his own injuries. I can feel his heart still racing, feel the tremor of adrenaline still coursing through him. "There," he says, spotting something through the trees. "A cave. It will do." He carries me toward it, each step purposeful, driven by the primal need to get his mate somewhere safe, somewhere defensible, somewhere he can tend to his wounds and claim what fate has given him.
Chapter 7. Mogor. I carry her into the first sheltered cave I find. It's barely more than a crack in a granite cliff face, damp and smelling of old bear, but it is defensible. My thigh is burning. The poisoned gash from the dark elf's dagger is weeping a foul, greenish pus that eats at my leathers. It would kill a human in hours. It will just make me miserable for a day. I drop her, perhaps a little too roughly, onto the driest patch of dirt near the back wall. My hands are shaking. Not from the poison, not from the fight, from her. Every inch of my skin itches with the need to touch her again. The bond is screaming now, a deafening roar in my blood that demands I cover her, scent her, bite her until she smells only of me. It is an agonizing physical weight. I pace the small confines of the cave, my head nearly brushing the jagged ceiling. I am an iron tusk warrior. I am a hunter. I do not lose control. But looking at her, huddled there, dirt-streaked, bloody, her chest heaving with exhaustion, I feel my control fracturing. She might even know the assassin I hunt. "Mate," the beast in my blood whispers. "Ours. Protect." "Stay there," I snarl, the words tearing out of my throat like gravel. "Do not move. Do not speak. Do not breathe too loudly. If she does any of those things, I am going to break." I try to focus on the wound. I need to cut out the poisoned flesh before it spreads deeper. I pull my dagger, the one she used to slaughter a dark elf, and heat the blade with a flint striker until it glows dull red. She makes a small, choked sound when I start cutting. "Stop looking," I growl, not pausing as I carve away the ruined meat of my own leg. Pain is good. Pain is clarifying. "Let me help," she whispers. She's moving toward me. "No, I can. I have a little magic left. Maybe enough to clean it." She reaches for me. Her small, pale hand lands on my knee. The contact destroys me. The jolt is staggering, a lightning strike that travels straight from her touch to my groin. My vision goes red, not with battle rage this time, but with lust so potent it feels like violence. I drop the knife. I grab her wrist, yanking her toward me. She gasps, falling against my uninjured leg. "I told you not to move," I rasp. I am breathing hard like I've run 10 miles. I told you! She doesn't pull away. She looks up at me, her eyes wide and dark in the gloom. She is terrified, yes. But beneath the terror, I smell it. The answering spike of her own arousal. Sweet, heavy, undeniable. Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for this platform.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by this platform's guidelines.
To get the full, unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the Worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable. Chapter 8. Lynn. I wake up to cold stone and the smell of him. It's everywhere. Baked into my skin, tangled in my hair, a heavy musk of sweat, dried blood, and mail that completely masks my own scent. For a hazy second, before memory crashes back in, I feel safe, anchored. Then I open my eyes and I see him. Mogor is sitting near the cave entrance, his massive silhouette blocked out against the grey morning light. He isn't sleeping. He is watching me, his yellow eyes unblinking, predatory. The memories hit me like a physical slap. The fight, the cave, the way I clawed at his back while he split me open and poured himself into me. Shame, hot and agonizing, floods my chest. I didn't just let him. I begged for it. I try to sit up, wincing as my battered body protests. I'm sore in a dozen places from the battle, but there's another ache, deeper and centred between my legs, that really has very little to do with fighting dark elves. The bond hums contentedly in my chest, a warm, heavy weight that wasn't there yesterday. It feels right. It feels terrifying. "You're awake," he rumbles. His voice is flat, stripped of the heat it held last night. Yes. My own voice is a wreck, hoarse from screaming. He stands up, filling the small cave. He doesn't look at me directly. He looks past me, at the wall, at the floor. We need to move. The rain stopped. Their trackers will be out soon. He tosses a piece of dried meat at me. It lands in my lap. Eat. You will need strength if you are to keep up today. It's not kindness. It's logistics. He wants to be rid of me, and he can't dump me at a human settlement if I collapse on the way there. I nibble on the tough, salty meat, watching him pack his meagre gear. The bond wants me to go to him, to touch him, to reassure myself that he is still there. I stay exactly where I am, huddled against the cold stone. "Why are you here?" I ask him. "I am looking for someone," he replies. "Someone you lost?" I ask. "Someone who took something from me," he replies. "And what if you don't find them?" I ask. "Then I will burn this continent until I'm satisfied," he growls. His head snaps toward the cave entrance. His nostrils flare. "Patrol!" he breathes, the word barely audible. I scramble to my feet, ignoring the protests of my stiff muscles. I move to his side, careful not to touch him. I can hear it now too, not with my ears, but with the faint, scraping buzz of magic against my senses. They are close. Maybe 100 yards down the ravine, moving slowly, checking every crevice. We can't fight them. Not again. Mogor's leg is stiff, his movements hitched with pain he's trying to hide. I am magically almost dry. "They will see the cave mouth," he says, gripping his axe. He is ready to die fighting. He won't run this time. "Wait," I whisper. I push past him to the very edge of the entrance. The rock here is wet, dark against the lighter stone of the cliff face. It's a beacon. I close my eyes. I don't have enough power for a shield or an attack. But an illusion? Illusions are cheap if you know how to weave them thin. I reach for the dregs of my magic. It hurts, a physical ache in my bones like scraping marrow. I pull it out and cast it over the cave entrance. I don't try to make it invisible. I just try to make it boring. I weave a perception filter, a subtle suggestion that there is nothing here but solid, unbroken grey rock. It won't fool a master sorcerer, but it might fool tired soldiers who are just looking for movement. "Stay back," I hiss at Mogor, sweat popping on my forehead from the effort of holding the weave steady. "Don't make a sound." The footsteps get louder. I can hear their voices now, the sharp, guttural cadence of the dark elven tongue. Blood Trail ended a mile back. The rain washed it out. "Check the ridge. The commander wants heads." They are right outside. I can see their shadows flickering through my illusion. If one of them reaches out a hand, if they brush against the rock face, the spell will shatter and we are dead. Mogor is a statue beside me, his breathing so shallow it's imperceptible. He is watching me, not them. He is watching the sweat drip off my nose, the way my hands are shaking as I hold the weave. Minutes stretch into hours. Finally, the footsteps recede. The voices fade. I hold the illusion for another 10 full minutes until I am sure they are gone. Then I let it drop. I sag against the cold stone wall, sliding down until I'm sitting in the dirt again. My head is pounding with a mage headache, sharp and blinding. Mogor looms over me. I flinch, expecting him to be angry that I used magic again, that I delayed us. "You are unbroken," he says. It's a strange thing to say. I look up at him tiredly. What? The syndicate usually breaks their human pets, makes them docile, useless for anything but obedience. His eyes are intense, searching my face. You fight, you think, you have a warrior's spirit in a small, fragile body. It is a compliment. From an iron tusk orc, it is high praise. It makes me feel sick. He doesn't see a warrior. He sees the survival instincts that made me such a good killer. He is admiring the very tools I used to murder his father. I did what I had to. I whisper, closing my eyes against the burning shame. "Yes," he says, and for a second his hand hovers over my head as if he might pet me. Then he pulls it back, his jaw tightening. "Get up. We wasted enough time."
Chapter 9. Mogor. We move east, but by midday I change course. North. East leads to human settlements on the edge of the wastes. They are wretched places, clusters of mud huts and desperate people clinging to the fringes of dark elf territory. If I leave her there, as I promised myself I would, the syndicate will have her back in chains within a week. The bond snarls at the very thought. It shows me images. Graphic, bloody images of what I would do to anyone who tried to take her. So north. It is wilder there, empty. There are rumors among the scattered tribes of Rach, whispers of a sanctuary near the coast, held by an orc who walks with humans. It sounds like madness. It sounds like the only place she might be safe. She does not ask why we turned. She just follows, wrapped in her tattered cloak, her small boots struggling in the thick, sucking mud. She is exhausted. I can smell it on her. A sour, weary scent that lies under the honey sweetness of her natural odor. Her magic is gone, her body battered from the fight, yet she does not complain. Not once. Iron Tusk women are strong. They are warriors who can stand beside their mates in a shield wall. I never thought a human could possess that same steel, wrapped in such soft, breakable skin. I find myself slowing my pace, shortening my long strides so she does not have to run to keep up. I hate that I do it. I hate that every instinct I have is now rewired to accommodate her weakness. "Mate," the beast grunts. "Protect!" It is a trap worse than the kinetic mine. That trap only broke my ribs. This one is breaking my will. We make camp as twilight bleeds across the twisted canopy. I do not let her gather wood. I sit her near the base of a giant, fungal-covered tree and tell her to stay. I hunt. It is easy work today. The local predators are active, sensing the coming night. I bring down a bristleboar, a nasty, tusked thing that smells terrible, but tastes decent if cooked long enough. When I return, she's cleared a small circle and stacked kindling she found within arm's reach. She's trying to be useful, trying to prove she is not a burden. I build the fire. I skin and spit the boar. When the meat is sizzling, dripping fat into the flames, I carve off the best piece, the tenderloin, rich and hot, and hand it to her on a broad leaf. She looks at it, then at me. You should eat. You did the hunting. Eat! I growl, sitting across the fire from her. I cannot eat until she does. It is a primal, stupid urge. The provider instinct. My own hunger is a dull ache compared to the need to see her fed. She eats. She tears into the meat with less delicacy than I expected, licking grease from her fingers. The sight makes my loin tighten. Everything she does makes me want her. It is maddening. I force myself to look away, to stare into the fire. I eat my own portion without tasting it. The bond is humming, contented now that she is safe, warm, and fed. It thinks we are playing house. It thinks this is permanent. Your father, she says softly into the crackling silence. What was he like? I stiffen. My grip on the gnawed boar bone tightens until it snaps. Why do you ask? You said you were hunting his killer. You must have loved him very much to come to this awful place for him. I throw the bone pieces into the fire. He was Iron Tusk Chieftain. He was strong, honorable. It is the standard answer, the one I give to strangers. But looking at her across the flames, the firelight dancing in her dark eyes, the standard answer feels insufficient. He liked to build things, I say, the words feeling rough and strange on my tongue. He was a great warrior, yes. He could cleave a dark elf in two with one swing, but he preferred an adze to a battle axe. He built our clan hall. He taught me how to join timber so it would hold against the strongest storms. I look down at my hands. They are killer's hands now. They haven't held a woodworking tool in months. He didn't want me to be like him in war, I continue, not sure why I am telling her this. He wanted me to be better. He wanted peace for the clan. That is why they killed him. The Syndicate does not like orcs who talk of peace and building. They like us savage. Easier to justify the callers. She is dead silent. I look up. Her face is pale, stricken. She looks like I just struck her. He sounds like a good man, she whispers. Her voice is shaking. He was the best of us, I confirm. The old grief washes over me, cold and sharp, tempering the heat of the bond. And I will find the coward who killed him. I will mount their head on the hall he built. She turns in early, curling up on a bed of moss I gathered. She faces away from the fire, away from me. I think she might be crying, but I do not go to her. I sit watch, my axe across my knees. The forest of Raich is never truly quiet. Things slither and chitter in the dark. I should be planning my next move. I should be thinking about the assassin's trail, which is surely cold now after our detour. But I am not thinking about the assassin. I am thinking about the way her hair shone in the firelight, the way she fought in that clearing, small but fierce as a wildcat. A terrifying thought takes root in my mind, cold and heavy as a stone. If I found a fresh trail tomorrow, if I caught the scent of the mage who killed my father, leading south while safety for her lay north, what would I do? Weeks ago, the answer was immediate. I would follow the vow. Now? I look at her sleeping form. The bond pulses, a steady, warm rhythm anchoring me to this spot, to her. I would not leave her. The realization is sickening. I am betraying him. Just by sitting here, just by letting this human female breathe, I am betraying the memory of the man who built our home. I grip my axe until my hands ache. I have to get rid of her. I have to get her to this sanctuary and leave her there, before the beast in my blood makes me forget why I am even alive.
Chapter 10. Lynn. Sleep is a mistake, I know this, but exhaustion drags me under anyway, pulling me back to the one place I never want to visit again. The Syndicate dungeon in Voig. It smells of ozone, old blood, and the terrified sweat of 100 different species. I am walking down the corridor, my footsteps silent on the damp stone. I am not Lynn, the woman here. I am the Wraith, the Syndicate's most efficient tool. I reach the last cell. It is heavily warded, shimmering with violet containment spells. Inside, hanging from chains that have bitten deep into his green-grey flesh, is the Orc. He is massive, even broken as he is. He looks so much like Mogor it makes my heart seize in the dream. The same sharp tusks, the same defiant brow. But this Orc has been here for weeks. The Dark Elves have been creative. He opens his one remaining eye when I enter. It is yellow, dimming, but still fierce. "Another torturer," he rasps, his voice a ruin of gravel and pain. "No," I say, my voice magically altered to a whispery nothing. "I am your end." I expect him to rage, to struggle against his chains. Instead, he sags. Relief, stark and devastating, washes over his brutalized face. "Good," he breathes. "Do it, before I break, before I tell them the clan's secrets." My hand trembles as I draw the mercy dagger, a thin stiletto coated in a fast-acting neurotoxin. It will be painless. It is the only kindness I can offer. "Warrior of Iron Tusk," I whisper, stepping close to him. The heat of his feverish skin radiates against mine. "Go to your ancestors." He leans into the blade as I press it to his chest, right over his mighty, failing heart. "My son will avenge me," he murmurs, his eyes locking onto mine. They are so clear suddenly, so full of terrifying certainty. "He will find you, little ghost, and he will not be as kind as you." I push the blade home. I wake up with a gasp that tears my throat, thrashing away from the phantom feeling of hot Orc blood on my hands. "Easy." A massive hand clamps onto my shoulder, pinning me to the mossy ground. It's not an attack, it's a stabilization. Mogor is leaning over me, his face a shadowed mask in the dying embers of our fire. It's deep night now. The forest is alive with chittering things, but all I can hear is the thunderous beat of my own heart. "You were screaming," he rumbles. He doesn't let go of my shoulder. The heat of his palm seeps through my thin tunic, burning away the lingering chill of the dungeon nightmare. "Bad dream," I manage, shivering violently. His nostrils flare, inhaling my scent. He smells the terror sweat, the sharp tang of adrenaline. "You smell of guilt and infection." I stiffen. "What?" He releases my shoulder and suddenly grips my left arm, pushing back the tattered sleeve. I flinch, trying to pull away, but he holds me fast. There, just below my elbow, is a jagged cut I don't remember getting in the fight. It's angry, red and swollen, radiating heat. Dark elf blades are often coated in filth, if not outright poison. "I didn't notice," I whisper, ashamed. I am usually so careful. "Pain makes you weak," he growls, but there is no real heat in it. He reaches for his pack, pulling out a small leather pouch and a strip of cleanish cloth. "Weakness gets us both killed." He tends to me. It is surreal. This creature of violence, who can cleave an armoured soldier in half with one swing, is now using those same massive calloused hands to gently clean the pus from my arm. He uses water from his skin, then smears a pungent green paste from the pouch onto the angry red flesh. It stings like fire for a second, then settles into a dull, throbbing numbness. I watch his face as he works. His brow is furrowed in concentration, his yellow eyes focused entirely on the small patch of my ruined skin. He is so close I can feel the warmth of his massive body, smell the wood smoke and leather, and him that makes my bond-addled brain swim. He wraps the cloth around my arm, tying it off with surprising dexterity for someone with fingers as thick as sausages. "Keep it dry," he orders, sitting back on his heels. He should hate me. He does hate me, or at least the idea of me. Yet here he is, saving me from my own negligence. "Thank you," I say softly. He grunts, looking away, uncomfortable with the gratitude. "I do not need you dying of rot before we reach the sanctuary. You are baggage. I need you functional. It's a lie. I can feel it in the bond. He didn't do this for logistics. He did it because the bond demanded it, because despite his vow, despite his rage, he is fundamentally a protector, just like his father was." The realization cracks something open inside my chest, a terrible, fragile warmth that begins to spread, terrifying me more than the nightmare did. I am falling in love with him. It's not just the fated mate bond, forcing chemical infatuation into my veins. It's seeing the honour beneath the brutality. It's hearing him talk about building clan halls while his hands are stained with enemy blood. He is everything I am not. He is honest. He is loyal. He is whole, even in his grief. I watch him stoke the dying fire, the flames casting dancing shadows across his scarred features. A treacherous thought whispers in my mind. What if I told him? What if I explained that it wasn't a murder, that it was a mercy killing, begged for by the very man he mourns? Would he understand? Could the bond be strong enough to bridge that impossible chasm? Hope is a dangerous drug. For a moment I let myself taste it. I imagine a world where I don't have to run. A world where this towering, magnificent warrior looks at me not with suspicion, but with the full, unreserved heat I saw in his eyes back in that cave. Then he turns his head, catching me watching him. His yellow eyes narrow, pinning me in place like a butterfly on a board. The firelight dances across his tusks, making them gleam like polished ivory. There's a flicker in his gaze. Suspicion, yes, but something darker, hotter, that mirrors the ache building low in my belly. The bond pulses between us, a living wire of heat that connects my core to his. I feel it tighten, pulling me toward him even as my mind screams to look away. "What?" he growls, his voice low and rough, like gravel under boots. I swallow, my throat dry. I should lie, deflect, bury this dangerous want under layers of pretense. But the nightmare still lingers, the guilt twisting with the forbidden heat of him tending my wound. He's so close, his massive body radiating warmth that cuts through the chill night air. I need you," I whisper, the words slipping out before I can stop them. It's the truth, raw and desperate. Not just the bond demanding it, the ache in my body, the way my thighs clench at the sight of his scarred muscles shifting under his skin.
As much as Samara and I want to finish what these two characters have started, it looks like this chapter is about to get too hot for this platform to handle.
Unfortunately, we have to pause here because their guidelines won't allow us to reveal the spiciest details.
To keep bringing you these free audiobooks, we have to follow their rules.
But don't worry. You can experience the full, unabridged version over at worldsofprotheka.com, where the boundaries of passion and fantasy collide.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off any of our unabridged audiobooks set in the rich and immersive worlds of Protheka.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
With these scenes, it will be unforgettable. Chapter 11. Mogor. We've been moving north for 2 days. My leg is stiff, the healing flesh tight and itchy under the bandages she rewraps every night, but it holds. The forest is changing around us. The The twisted, sickly trees of the southern wastes are giving way to older, deeper growth. The air here smells less of sulfur and more of pine and damp earth. It should feel safer. It feels worse. I stop, holding up a fist. She freezes instantly, sinking into a crouch behind a fern thicket without me having to tell her. She's learning. Or perhaps she always knew. I taste the air. The clumsy, noisy patrols of the regular syndicate soldiers are gone. We left them behind yesterday, but something else has taken their place. It is a faint scent, almost undetectable under the pine. Oils, exotic poisons, quiet steel. "What is it?" she whispers, barely breathing. "Hunters," I rumble softly, my eyes scanning the canopy. "Not standard slavers." These trackers move like smoke. They do not break twigs. They do not leave boot prints in the mud. They are professionals. A cold realization settles in my gut. They are not hunting a runaway slave. They are hunting her. Standard patrols give up after a few days in this terrain. It is not worth the coin. These ones have persisted. "They are close," I say, unhooking my axe. The leather grip is comforting, a solid anchor in the shifting danger. "Stay low. Do not use magic unless you must. You are too drained." She nods, her face pale but set. She is terrified, yet she does not whimper. My beast prowls just beneath my skin, hackles raised. Good. Let them come. Let them try to take what is mine. They hit us 10 minutes later, dropping from the trees like spiders. There are only 4 of them, but they're worth 20 regular soldiers. They wear fitted gray leathers that blur against the forest background, their faces masked. They wield twin short swords coated in a viscous, purple liquid. Assassins. The first one lands directly in front of me, blades already whirling. I barely get my axe up in time to deflect a strike aimed at my throat. The impact rings through my arms, surprisingly heavy for such a slight creature. "Iron Tusk!" the assassin hisses, voice muffled by the mask. "You are interfering with guild business." "Guild, not syndicate," I roar, shoving him back with the flat of my axe blade. "My business is sending you to the hells!" 2 more engage me instantly, their movements coordinated, fluid. They are trying to hamstring me, darting in low while keeping my attention high. The 4th one does not attack me. He goes straight for her. She scrambles backward, holding the crude orcish dagger I gave her. She looks impossibly small against the advancing killer. "No!" The word tears out of me, raw and panicked. I ignore the blades flashing at me. I take a slice to my bicep, another to my thigh, just to break their containment circle. I will not let him touch her. I body slam one of the assassins, blocking my path, sending him crashing into a tree hard enough to leave a dent. I don't stop to finish him. I charge the one stalking her. He hears me coming and spins, abandoning his prey to deal with the enraged orc bearing down on him. He is fast. He ducks my first swing, his poison blade flashing toward my kidneys. I don't dodge. I twist, taking the hit on my armored belt. It punches the breath out of me, but the leather holds. I grab his wrist, crushing the small bones there until he drops the sword with a strangled cry. I headbutt him. His mask cracks. He goes limp. I throw him aside and place myself between her and the remaining 2. I'm breathing hard now, blood trickling down my arm, mixing with the sweat on my skin. "Who sent you?" I demand, my voice a low, vibrating growl. They do not answer. They just assess me with cold, dead eyes above their masks. They see my size, my rage, and they calculate the odds. They are professionals. They know they have lost the element of surprise. One of them reaches into a pouch at his belt. "Down!" I roar at her, covering her with my own body as he throws something at the ground. A cloud of choking, blinding white smoke explodes around us. It smells of alchemical fire and blinding root. My eyes water, stinging furiously. I swing my axe blindly through the smoke, but it meets only air. When the smoke clears, they are gone. Even the one I stunned, dragged away by his comrades. I do not chase them. I cannot leave her unguarded. I turn to her. She is still crouched on the ground, the dagger shaking in her grip. She is unharmed, but her eyes are wide with a dawning, terrible realization. Those were not slavers, I say. It's an accusation. No, she whispers. They were guild. Assassins. I step closer, looming over her. The protective urge is still hammering in my blood, but the suspicion is back, colder and sharper than before. They do not hunt standard runaways. They hunt marks, high-value targets. I reach down and take the dagger from her shaking hand before she cuts herself with it. Why would an assassin guild send 4 of their best to retrieve one small, human female? She looks away, unable to meet my gaze. The scent of her guilt is acrid, overpowering even the lingering smoke. I told you, she says, her voice thin and brittle. I stole from them. You stole more than maps, I growl. You stole something that makes them want you dead, not just recaptured. They were going to kill you, little witch. I saw it in their eyes. She shivers violently. Yes, they were. Tell me what you took. She shakes her head, wrapping her arms around herself. I can't. If I tell you, you'll... She trails off, her eyes darting to my face, filled with a fear that has nothing to do with the assassins. If I tell you, you'll hate me. That is what she didn't say. The bond aches at her distress, wanting me to comfort her. I ignore it. I cannot afford to be blind. They will be back, I state. And next time they will bring more. We need to move, now! I haul her to her feet. She doesn't resist. She just follows me, a ghost haunting her own life, carrying secrets that are going to get us both killed.
Chapter 12. Lynn. We run until my vision blurs at the edges, my lungs burning with every ragged breath. Mogor doesn't slow down this time. He knows what's chasing us now. Guild. They aren't like the syndicate patrols. They don't give up. They don't get tired. They will track us until one of us is dead. Keep moving, Mogor growls, his hand heavy and hot on my lower back, practically pushing me up the steep, root-choked incline. I stumble, but his grip keeps me from falling. I hate this. I hate that he's protecting me from my mess. Those assassins back there? I knew them. I recognized the fighting style of the leader. It was Kalen, a man I trained with for 3 years. He tried to gut Mogor without a flicker of hesitation. And Mogor, he defended me like I was precious, like I was innocent. The guilt is a physical weight, heavier than the exhaustion. He thinks I stole an object. He doesn't know I stole a life, his father's life. We need to cross the ridge, he says, scanning the dense tree line ahead. The rock will hide our tracks better than this mud. He takes the lead, his massive body a shield between me and whatever lies ahead. That's his instinct now. Put himself first. Take the blow so I don't have to. It's going to get him killed. The guild knows how orcs fight. They know they value protection over self-preservation. Mogor, wait, I gasp, a sudden sick feeling coiling in my stomach. Don't just walk in. They sometimes set secondary lines. He pauses, looking back at me. Traps. Worse, kill zones. He doesn't question me. He just stops, his yellow eyes narrowing as he scans the seemingly empty forest path ahead. Where? I move up beside him, careful not to brush against him. The bond is too loud right now, screaming at me to comfort him, to confess, to do a dozen stupid things that would get us killed. I close my eyes, reaching out with the thinnest tendril of magic I can manage. I don't look for life this time. I look for the absence of it. There, 20 feet ahead, between 2 ancient sentinel pines. A dead zone. No insects buzzing, no small animals moving through the underbrush. There, I whisper, pointing. Stasis web, alchemical, probably triggered by pressure, Mogor grunts. I see nothing. That's the point. It's woven into the roots. You step on it, it snaps up and freezes you. Then they come out and finish the job while you can't move. He looks at me, and for the first time, I see a flicker of genuine respect warring with the suspicion. A hedge witch would not know this. I flinch. I told you. I stole knowledge. You know their tactics too well for a thief. Before I can invent another lie, a snapping sound echoes from the trees to our left. A decoy. Mogor reacts instantly, instinctively. He spins toward the threat, putting himself between me and the noise. In doing so, he takes a single heavy step backward, right into the trigger zone. It happens instantly. The ground beneath his boot flares with sickening green light. Thick, translucent vines of magical energy erupt from the soil, whipping around his legs, his torso, his arms. He roars, a sound of pure fury, and tries to break free. His muscles bunch, corded with insane strength. He snaps 2 of the vines, but 3 more take their place, constricting tighter. "Don't fight it!" I scream, horrified. "It feeds on kinetic energy. The more you struggle, the tighter it gets." He doesn't listen, or maybe he can't. He is an orc. His answer to every problem is force. He strains against the web, his face turning dark with effort, veins bulging in his neck. The vines glow brighter, sizzling where they touch his leathers, digging into his flesh. He's going to crush himself. "Mogor, stop!" I lunge toward him, but the outer edge of the web flares, knocking me backward. He grunts, pain finally breaking through the rage. One of the vines is wrapped around his throat. It's tightening. "Run!" he chokes out, his eyes finding mine even as they start to bloodshot. "Lynn, run!" He's dying. He's trapped in a guild web, suffocating. And his last thought is to tell me to save myself. Something inside me breaks. Not the bond. That just gets stronger, a Durasteel cable anchoring me to him. What breaks is my fear. I am not a hedge witch. I am the Wraith, and no one kills my mate but me. I scramble to my feet and run, not away, but right at him. I don't try to physically touch him. The web would just take me too. I stop inches from the glowing vines and slam my hands into the earth, right onto the anchor runes. It burns. Gods, it burns. This is high-level alchemy, woven by a master. It wants to eat my magic, to use it to fuel the constriction. I don't let it. I don't pull at it. I push. I pour everything I have left into the ground. Every scrap of power. Every reserve I've been hoarding for days. I don't try to unweave the spell. I overload it. "Let him go," I scream, the words raw and guttural, more magic than sound. My vision goes white. I feel something inside me tear, a deep, fundamental rip in my magical core. It is agony. It is worse than any beating the Syndicate ever gave me. The web flares brilliantly, blindingly bright, and then shatters with the sound of breaking glass. Mogor falls free, gasping for air, coughing violently as the pressure releases his throat. I don't see him land. The world tilts sideways, grey and fuzzy. I hit the ground hard, no air left in my lungs, no power left in my blood. I am empty, hollowed out. I vaguely feel the damp earth against my cheek. I hear heavy, stumbling footsteps. Then giant hands are on me, turning me over. Mogor's face swims into view above me, terrified and furious and awestruck all at once. "Lynn," he rumbles, his voice shaking. I try to smile, but I don't think my face works anymore. "Told you." "Not a hedge witch," I whisper, and then the grey turns to black.
Chapter 13. Mogor. She is too light in my arms. I run for another hour, putting miles of rough terrain between us and the guild ambush site. But I barely feel her weight. She is limp, her head lolling against my chest, her skin gray and cold to the touch. It is terrifying. I have seen death. I have caused death. I know what a body looks like when the spirit has fled. She looks uncomfortably close to that state right now. "Do not die," I growl at her unconscious form, stepping over a rotted log without breaking stride. "I did not give you permission to die." She does not stir. The bond is quiet, a low, panicked thrumming deep in my chest. It knows she is fading. It knows she poured too much of herself into breaking that web. She saved me. Again. The realization is a heavy stone in my gut. I am an Iron Tusk warrior. I am supposed to be the shield, the unbreakable wall that protects the clan. Yet this tiny human female has twice now thrown herself between me and certain death. She risked her life to save mine. A woman who owes me nothing. A woman I terrorized and bound. Shame burns hotter than the exhaustion in my muscles. I've been arrogant. I thought her weak because she is small, because she needs magic to heavy lift. I was wrong. She has a stronger spine than half the orcs I have fought alongside. I find a dense thicket of razor ferns that have overgrown a small depression in the ground. It is not a cave, but it will hide us from casual sight, and the ferns will mask our scent from anything but a blood tracker. I lay her down on my cloak. She is shivering now, violent tremors that rattle her small frame, even though her skin feels like ice. Magical exhaustion. I have seen it before, in the old shamans after a great working. It kills if not treated with warmth and rest. I cannot build a fire. It is too dangerous this close to the guild hunters. I do the only thing I can. I strip off my armor, my leathers, down to my skin. I lie down beside her and pull her onto me, wrapping my arms around her, burying her in my own excessive body heat. She's so cold it hurts where she touches me. "Warm up," I command her, rubbing her back briskly with one massive hand. "Fight it, Lynn." She makes a small, whimpering sound and burrows closer, her face pressing into the junction of my neck and shoulder. Her icy nose touches my pulse point. The bond flares, not with lust this time, but with a fierce, overwhelming need to nurture. It's a strange feeling for a warrior. It feels right. As the hours pass and her shivering slowly subsides, I stare up at the interwoven canopy of razor ferns. I think of my father. I think of the look on his face when he talked about the future of the clan. He never wanted vengeance. He wanted survival. He wanted us to build, not just destroy. I've spent months destroying everything in my path to get to Rach. And what has it brought me? It brought me her. I look down at the woman sleeping on my chest. Her breathing is easier now, less ragged. The gray pallor is leaving her skin. If I continue this hunt, she will die. The guild is here. The syndicate is here. Rach wants to swallow us both. I cannot protect her and hunt a ghost at the same time. The vow rises up, demanding its due. Blood for blood, a son's duty. For the first time, I push it back. My father is dead. Nothing I do will bring him back, but she is alive. She is here, warm and breathing and brave, and she is my mate. If I let her die to avenge him, I will have learned nothing from him. I will just be another savage orc, exactly what the Dark Elves think we are. The decision settles over me, heavy and final as a tombstone. The hunt is over. She wakes just before dawn. I feel the change in her breathing, the slight tension returning to her small frame. She lifts her head, blinking blearily at me. She realizes where she is, naked, sprawled on top of me, wrapped in my arms. She tries to scramble away, but she is still weak. I hold her easily. "Easy," I rumble. "You nearly froze your own blood with that stunt back there. Did they follow?" "Not yet." I sit up, keeping one arm around her to steady her. "You saved my life, Lynn." She looks away, that familiar scent of guilt spiking again. "I just did what was necessary." "You threw yourself into a magic recoil that could have stopped your heart. For me." I use my free hand to turn her face back to mine. I need her to see me. I need her to understand. Why? Her lower lip trembles. Because I couldn't watch you die. It is the truth. The bond sings with it. Good, I say gruffly. Because I'm not going to die, and neither are you. I stand up, lifting her with me effortlessly. I set her on her feet, steadying her until she finds her balance. We are done running in circles, I state. We go north, straight to the coast, straight to this sanctuary. But your vengeance, the assassin. I look at my axe lying on the ground. It is just a tool now, not a sacred object. My father is gone, I say, the words tasting like ash but feeling like freedom. My mate is here. I choose the living.
From the depths of the darkness of Protheka,
Or clawing up from the realms of fantasy.
come the most fearsome beasts you have ever seen.
These monsters are done watching from the shadows.
Now, as they step into the light, something unexpected grips them.
Something even they can't fight off.
Love,
Vampires,
demons,
dark elves,
gods.
minotaurs, creatures of light and dark.
They will protect their mates.
Do whatever needs to be done.
Morally grey heroes who will burn the world to protect the women who love them.
10 audiobooks,
Fall into over 60 hours of fantasy romance.
20 ebooks,
Over 1 million words of these brutes who will protect their women.
even if they might destroy themselves in the process.
Get the immersive Protheka fantasy romance bundle.
For 80% off, right now, dive into Protheka at a once-in-a-lifetime discount.
The first bundle to offer both ebooks and audiobooks on worldsofprotheka.com. Protheka's magic is eternal, and this Romantasy bundle will make it endless. Chapter 14. Lynn. He gave it up. The realization hits me harder than the guild's stasis web did. We are walking north, away from the intercept course he had been so diligently tracking for weeks. Every step we take is a step away from his father's killer. Because of me. I watch his broad back as he hacks a path through the dense undergrowth. He is limping slightly, favouring the leg the dark elf poisoned, but he doesn't slow down. He is a relentless, unstoppable force, and now all that force is directed at one thing: keeping me alive. Nausea roils in my gut, acidic and hot. He chose me over his vow. He chose the woman who murdered his father over the duty he owes his father's ghost. If he knew. Gods, if he knew, it wouldn't just break his heart. It would shatter his entire world. Mogor, I call out, my voice thin. He stops instantly, turning to face me. His yellow eyes sweep over me, checking for threats, for injuries. Can you keep moving? We need another 5 miles before we can risk a real camp. I'm fine, I lie. I'm not fine. I'm hollowed out, my magical core aching like a phantom limb. Why did you do it? Turn north. He grunts, turning back to the path. I told you. I choose the living. It's more than that. I push, needing to understand the depth of the hole I've dug for myself. The vow. It defines you. It's all you've talked about. He stops again, but he doesn't turn this time. His shoulders are tense, bunched muscles beneath scarred green skin. The vow was for the dead, he says, his voice low and rough. You are here. You are now. And if I keep hunting, you will die. I will not trade your life for a corpse's honour. We keep moving. The terrain gets rockier, climbing toward the foothills that eventually lead to the northern coast. It's brutal going. Without my magic to reinforce my limbs, I am just a human. Weak, slow. I stumble on loose shale, sliding backward. Before I even hit the ground, he is there. His arm bands around my waist, hauling me up against his chest. He doesn't let go immediately. He holds me there, his chin resting on top of my head, his heartbeat thundering against my ear. It's not just support. It's a need. The bond is hungry today, feeding on the near miss of the guild ambush. It wants reassurance. I wrap my arms around his massive torso, burying my face in the leather of his armour. He smells of sweat and old blood and pine resin. He smells safe. For the first time in my life, I feel truly protected. Not by my own skills, not by the guild's reputation, but by someone who genuinely values my life above his own. And I am lying to him with every breath I take. He nearly died in that web for me. He is rewriting his entire moral code for me. I can't let him do this. I can't let him build a future on a foundation of rotten lies. He is too honourable for that. He deserves the truth, even if it makes him hate me, even if it makes him kill me. We camp in a small depression shielded by massive boulders. No fire tonight, too risky with the guild still out there. We huddle together under his thick cloak for warmth, his body heat a furnace that keeps the rage chill at bay. When we reach the sanctuary, he says quietly into the darkness, his arm heavy around my shoulders, "Grook will know what to do. He has built a safe place. You will not have to run anymore." "And you?" I ask, dread coiling in my stomach. "Will you stay?" He hesitates. "My clan is there, my brothers. If they are building a new home, perhaps I will help them. I am good with timber." I close my eyes, fighting back tears. He is planning a future, a life beyond vengeance. Because of me. "Mogor," I whisper, turning in his arms so I can see his face. The moonlight turns his skin to silver-grey granite. "Have you ever done something you thought was right, but it turned out to be terrible?" His brow furrows. "War is terrible, but it is often right." "Not war," I say quickly. "A choice, a personal choice." He looks at me, really looks at me, and for a second I think he sees right through me. "I chose to leave my brothers on the beach to pursue the assassin alone. I thought it was right. Now, I think perhaps it was pride." He touches my cheek, his thumb rough against my skin. "Why do you ask, little witch? What weighs on you?" "Everything. I am the weight." "Nothing," I chicken out. "I am a coward." The wraith, who never flinched from a kill, is terrified of breaking one orc's heart. He falls asleep quickly, the deep, untroubled sleep of someone who has made a hard decision and is at peace with it. I stay awake. I watch the stars wheel overhead through gaps in the canopy. I need to tell him. If we reach this sanctuary, if he reunites with his brothers and introduces me as his mate, and then finds out the truth, the betrayal will be 1,000 times worse. It will destroy not just us, but his reunion with his clan. He deserves to know who he is protecting. He deserves to know that the woman he is ready to die for is the same one who orphaned him. I look at his sleeping face. He looks younger when he sleeps, less burdened by rage. I love him. The realization is agonizing, a physical pain in my chest. I love him enough to let him kill me, if that's what he needs to find peace. Tomorrow. I will tell him tomorrow, when we are rested, before we reach the sanctuary. I press a soft kiss to the pulse point in his thick neck. He grunts in his sleep, his arm tightening around me instinctively. "I'm sorry," I whisper to the dark. "I'm so sorry for what I'm going to do to you."
Chapter 15. Mogor. We find it by accident. A fissure in the granite cliff face, hidden behind a curtain of cascading water that thunders down from the high peaks. It is narrow, barely wide enough for me to squeeze through, but it opens into a small, dry cavern. It is perfect, it is hidden, it is safe. The deafening roar of the waterfall outside dampens the rest of the world. It drowns out the chittering of Rach's predators, the phantom sounds of pursuit. In here, there is only the damp, cool air and the sound of our own breathing. I drop my pack. My shoulders ache with a bone-deep weariness, that has absolutely nothing to do with the physical exertion of the trek. It is the weight of the decision I made. The vow is quiet now, a sullen, defeated presence in the very back of my mind. Lynn stands near the entrance, shivering slightly in the damp air. She looks small, her clothes tattered, her face smudged with dirt and old blood. She looks beautiful. The bond uncoils in my chest, no longer fighting me, no longer a source of agonizing tension. It expands, warm and heavy, filling the empty spaces my vengeance used to occupy. "We are safe here," I rumble, the sound echoing softly in the small space. She turns to me, her dark eyes wide and uncertain. "For how long?" "For tonight," I say. "Tonight is enough." I cross the small space between us. I do not stalk her this time. I approach her as I would a skittish wild thing that I do not want to startle. I stop inches from her. I can smell the exhaustion on her, but beneath it, that sweet, intoxicating scent of home is stronger than ever. "You asked me earlier," I say, my voice rough, "if I would trade a life for honor." She nods, her breath hitching. "I told you I chose the living. I chose you." I reach out, taking her small hands in mine. They are cold. I rub them between my massive palms, trying to warm them. "The hunt is over, Lynn. I am done looking for ghosts. My father is dead. I'm alive, and I want to be alive with you. It is the truest thing I have ever said. It feels like setting down a heavy shield I've carried for too long." Her eyes fill with tears. They spill over, tracking clean lines through the grime on her cheeks. "Mogor, do not cry," I whisper, leaning down to brush the tears away with my thumbs. "We are going to the sanctuary. We are going to build something new. No more death." She makes a choked sound, half sob, half laugh, and throws herself against my chest. Her arms wrap around my waist, holding me with desperate strength. The impact breaks the last of my restraint, not with violence this time, but with a fierce, overwhelming need to be closer to her than physics should allow. I crush my mouth to hers, the kiss fierce and desperate, my tusks scraping her soft lips as I devour her. She tastes of salt tears and sweet surrender, and the bond flares hot in my chest, demanding more. I tangle my fingers in her hair, pulling her head back to expose her throat, nipping at the pale skin there until she gasps. This scene is about to get too steamy for this platform's comfort, and as much as we'd love to keep going, their guidelines say we need to stop here.
To continue releasing these free audiobooks on this platform, we've got to play by the rules.
The passion doesn't end here.
Visit worldsofprotheka.com to hear the full, uncut version of this fantasy romance, and every daring moment that YouTube can't handle.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off unabridged audiobooks in the Worlds of Protheka.
Don't let YouTube hold you back. Immerse yourself in a world of magic, danger, and unfiltered passion.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
Listen unabridged and you'll never want to go back.
Peace. It is a strange, foreign feeling. I have not felt peace since the day I found my father's body. I stroke her hair, marveling at the softness of it. She is a mage, a thief, a survivor of the Syndicate. Yet she feels so delicate in my arms. "We will make it," I tell her quietly, staring up at the stone ceiling. "Grook will help us. We will find my other brothers. We will have a clan again." She stiffens slightly against me. I feel the change in her breathing, a small hitch that breaks the steady rhythm. "Lynn?" She pushes herself up, sitting back on her heels. The fur falls away, leaving her bare in the cool air. She doesn't reach for it. She's staring down at me, her face pale, her dark eyes filled with a sudden, terrifying misery. "Mogor," she whispers. Her voice is shaking. I have to tell you something." A cold finger of dread touches my spine, putting a crack in the newfound peace. "It can wait until morning." "No," she says, and a tear falls from her chin, landing hot on my chest. "It can't. You have to know. Before you build a future with me." I sit up slowly, the dread turning into a heavy, sick weight in my gut. What is it? She takes a deep, shuddering breath, like someone about to dive into deep, freezing water. The assassin you were hunting, she says, her voice cracking. It wasn't just anyone, it was me.
Chapter 16. Lynn. The silence that follows my confession is not peaceful. It is the breathless, pressurized second before a cave-in. Mogor does not move. He does not breathe. He is a statue carved from grey granite, his massive body frozen in the exact position it was when I spoke. His hand is still near my face, but the warmth of it seems to have vanished, replaced by a terrible, radiating cold. "Say that again," he rumbles. His voice is unrecognisable, a flat, dead sound that scrapes against the stone walls of our small shelter. I can't breathe. The bond, which had been a warm, humming presence just seconds ago, is now a frantic, screeching alarm in my chest. It knows I have just broken something irreparable. I have to finish it. I must tell him everything before the shock wears off and the warrior takes over. The syndicate? They had him in Voig, I whisper, the words spilling out fast, desperate. In the deep dungeons. They had him for weeks, Mogor. They were... I choke, remembering the state of the great chieftain's body. They were taking him apart, piece by piece. Mogor flinches. It is a tiny movement, just a twitch of the muscle in his jaw, but it is terrifying. Lies, he breathes, but it lacks conviction. He knows. Deep down, he knows the syndicate. I was sent to finish it, to make it clean before he died of the torture. It was supposed to be just another job. I reach out, wanting to touch his arm, but I stop myself. I don't have the right to touch him anymore. He was awake when I got there. I continue, forcing myself to look at him, to meet those devastating yellow eyes. He had one eye left. They had... Gods, Mogor, they had broken his legs so many times they didn't look like legs anymore. They wanted him to beg. They wanted him to give up the clan's location. A tremor runs through Mogor's massive frame. His hands slowly curl into fists, the knuckles turning white as bone. He never broke, I say fiercely, needing him to know this, needing him to be proud of the man I killed. Not once. When he saw me, he didn't ask for mercy. He didn't ask for help escaping. He knew he couldn't be moved. I swallow hard, the memory vivid and bloody in the small cave. He asked for death. He begged me for it. He said, "Do it. Before I break, before I tell them clan secrets." Mogor closes his eyes. A sound tears out of him, a low, anguished keen that is worse than any roar. It is the sound of a heart being ripped in two. He was a great warrior, I whisper. I didn't want him to die like an animal in their cages. I gave him the only freedom I could. He opens his eyes. The golden heat that had been there only minutes ago is gone, extinguished completely. They are cold now, cold and empty and terrifying. "You," he says. "It is not a question. It is a judgment." "Yes," I whisper. "Me. I am the wraith. I am the one who put the dagger in his heart." I brace myself. I expect him to strike me. I expect him to wrap those massive hands around my throat and finish what we started in that clearing days ago. Part of me wants him to. It would be easier than seeing the look on his face right now. "He told me," I say, my voice breaking, tears finally spilling hot and fast down my cheeks. His last words, he said, "My son will avenge me." Mogor recoils as if I had physically struck him. He scrambles backward, putting space between us in the small cave, scrambling away from me as if I am diseased. "Do not speak of him," he snarls, the rage finally beginning to bleed through the shock. "Do not let his words cross your traitor tongue." "I had to tell you." I plead, though I don't know what I am pleading for. Forgiveness is impossible. I couldn't let you take me to your home. I couldn't let you introduce me to his clan without knowing. He stares at me, his chest heaving. The air in the cave is thick with conflicting magics, the ancient, unbreakable demand of the mate bond warring with the sacred, blood-deep obligation of his vow. I can feel the war raging inside him. It is tearing him apart. The bond wants him to comfort me, to wipe away my tears. The vow wants him to mount my head on a spike. He looks at his hands, the hands that just pleasured me, the hands that tended my wounds. He looks at them like they are covered in filth. You let me... His voice cracks. He can't even say it. You let me claim you, knowing what you were. I didn't know, I cry. Not until you said your name, not until it was too late. It is never too late for vengeance, he says, but he doesn't move toward me. He is pressed against the far wall of the cave, shaking violently. He is trying to make himself kill me. I can see it. He is trying to summon the monster, the remorseless hunter I met in the woods. But the bond won't let him. It is holding him back, a psychic chain stronger than his own muscles. He looks at me one last time, and the pure, unadulterated hatred in his eyes breaks my heart faster than any dagger could. Then he turns and smashes his fist into the cave wall. The stone cracks. He bellows a sound of pure agony and storms out into the night, leaving me alone in the dark with the truth.
Chapter 17. Mogor. I crash through the waterfall, the icy deluge doing nothing to cool the inferno raging under my skin. I stumble, falling to my knees in the mud outside the cave. I vomit, violent, heaving spasms that empty my stomach until there is nothing left but dry heaves in agony. Me. I am the Wraith. The words echo in my skull louder than the roar of the falls. Her voice, her soft, treacherous voice that I just spent hours listening to, that I just moaned into while I poured my seed into her. She killed him. The female I claimed, the female I chose over my own father's memory, is the one who put him in the ground. I roar. It is a sound that shreds my throat, a primal scream of betrayal that has no words. I smash my fists into the mud again and again until I hit bedrock, until my knuckles split and bleed. It cannot be true. It is a nightmare. A cruel trick of the Dark Elf gods. But the bond knew. It's why she smelled of guilt, why she was so terrified of me. I trusted her. I let her into my heart, into my bed. I let her soothe the wounds her own kind inflicted on me. The vow rises up, no longer a defeated thing. It is a towering, hateful monster now, fueled by fresh betrayal. It screams one simple instruction. Go back in there. Finish it. I stand up. I am shaking, but my hands are steady enough to grip my axe. I walk back through the waterfall. She is still there, huddled against the far wall where I left her. She is naked, shivering, her face streaked with tears that I wiped away only an hour ago. She looks small, fragile. She looks like my mate. She is a killer, the Vo snarls. She murdered the best man you ever knew. I stalk toward her. She doesn't try to run. She just watches me with those dark, devastating eyes, waiting for judgment. I raise the axe. It should be easy. I've killed dozens of enemies. I've executed traitors to the clan. She is worse than a traitor. I swing. Pain, white-hot and paralyzing, explodes in my chest. It is not my pain. It is the bond, violently rejecting the action. Feels like a spear has been thrust through my heart. My arms lock up. My muscles spasm, refusing to obey me. I physically cannot bring the weapon down on her. The axe flies from my numb fingers, clattering uselessly against the stone floor. I stagger back, clutching my chest, gasping for air that feels suddenly too thin to breathe. Get out! I choke out. She flinches, as if I actually hit her. Mogor, please, you have to understand, he begged me. Silence, The roar fills the small cavern, shaking dust from the ceiling. Do not use his voice to defend yourself. You killed him. You took him from us. I saved him from them, she cries, pushing herself up, heedless of her nakedness. She is desperate now, fighting for something more than her life. They were breaking him, Mogor. He didn't want you to see him like that. He wanted to die a warrior, not a broken toy. I don't want to hear it. I can't hear it. If I believe her, if I accept that it was mercy, then I have to forgive her. And I cannot forgive the person who killed my father. You made me, I whisper, the words tasting like poison. You made me love you. You let me betray him every time I touched you. That hits her harder than the axe would have. She recoils, her face crumpling. I didn't mean to, she sobs. I didn't know who you were until... You knew. I slam my fist into the stone wall again, needing the pain to ground me. You knew when we fought the elves. You knew when you lay with me. Every time I promised to protect you, you were laughing at me. Never, she whispers. I never laughed. I was dying inside every time you looked at me with kindness. I look at her one last time. The mate bond is still there, throbbing with a dull, insistent ache beneath the overwhelming anger. It will never go away. I will carry this sickness for the rest of my life. I cannot kill her. The gods have cursed me to ensure it. But I cannot look at her without seeing his blood on her hands. Take your things, I say. My voice is dead, empty. Take the dagger, take the food. Mogor. If I see you again, I tell her, turning my back on her because I cannot bear the sight of her tear-streaked face. I will try again. And maybe next time, the vow will be stronger than the bond. It is a lie. The bond will always win. That is the horror of it. I hear her moving behind me, the rustle of fabric as she dresses, the soft clink of the dagger being sheathed. She is crying, silent, hitching sobs that tear at my guts. Goodbye, Mogor, she whispers. I don't answer. I stare at the wall until the sound of her footsteps fades, swallowed by the rumbling roar of the waterfall. Only when I am completely alone do I let myself fall to my knees. I don't roar this time, I just bleed, invisibly, from a wound that will never heal.
Chapter 18. Lynn. The waterfall is a wall of liquid ice. I step through it, and the brutal cold hits me like a physical blow, soaking my tattered clothes and stealing the last lingering warmth of Mogor's cavern from my skin. I stumble on the slick rocks outside, falling to my hands and knees in the mud. I don't get up immediately. I just kneel there, gasping, while the water thunders down inches behind me. Inside that cave is warmth. Inside that cave is the only man who has ever looked at me and seen a person instead of a weapon. Go back, the bond whispers, a frantic, agonizing pull in the center of my chest. He didn't mean it. He is hurting. Go back and fix it. I can't fix this. I can't fix dead fathers. I force myself to stand. My legs are shaking, not just from cold, but from a soul-deep exhaustion that makes my bones feel brittle. I have no magic. I am just a human female alone in the deadliest wilderness on Protheka, at night. I should be terrified. I should be looking for predators. I don't care. If something eats me tonight, at least the hurting will stop. I walk. I don't know where I am going. I just need to put distance between myself and the sound of that waterfall, because as long as I can hear it, I can hear his silence. The forest is pitch black. Without my mage sight, it is a terrifying confusion of looming shapes and unseen rustling. Thorny vines snag my tunic, tearing fresh holes. Roots try to trip me with every step. I am defenseless. For 10 years, I have been the wraith, the thing that other people fear in the dark. Now I am just meat. A howl echoes in the distance, something large and hungry. My heart gives a painful lurch, instinct trying to override despair. I keep walking. The bond is stretching. It feels like a physical wire hooked behind my navel, pulling tighter and tighter the further I go. It hurts more than the thorns. It hurts more than the cold. It is a constant, screaming reminder of what I just threw away. I had him. For 1 perfect hour I had a mate, I had a future, and I burned it all down with the truth. I collapse when my legs simply refuse to carry me any further. I am in a small hollow, beneath the twisted roots of a dead ironwood tree. It offers no real shelter from the damp, but it is hidden. I curl into a ball, trying to preserve some body heat. My teeth are chattering so hard my jaw aches. I close my eyes, and instantly I am back in the cave. I see his face, not the rage, but the moment before it, the devastation when he realized, "You made me love you. You let me betray him every time I touched you." His words are a poison that won't leave my system. He was right. It was selfish. I let him claim me because I wanted it, because I was desperate to be loved, even for a moment. I stole that from him, just like I stole his father. Tears leak hot and fast onto my muddy hands. I don't deserve to cry. I am the villain in this story. "I'm sorry," I whisper into the wet moss. "I'm so sorry, Mogor." The bond throbs, a dull, answering ache. He is still there. He hasn't rejected the bond, even if he rejected me. That somehow makes it worse. He is stuck with this connection to his enemy. I don't sleep. I just lie there, shivering, waiting for dawn or death, whichever comes first. As the long hours drag on, a new thought begins to form in the wreckage of my mind. It is grim, devoid of hope, but it is something to hold on to. The sanctuary. He won't go there now. He won't want to face his brothers with the shame of what he did, mating with his father's killer. He will go back to hunting, or worse, he will just fade into the wastes, a broken warrior with no clan. I can't let that be the end of it. I have to go to the sanctuary. I have to find Grook. I have to tell him that his brother is alive, that he is close. If I can do that, maybe Grook can find him. Maybe his brothers can save him from the solitude I condemned him to. It is a pathetic goal. It will probably get me killed, but it is all I have left. Dawn begins to bleed grey light through the canopy. I am numb, stiff, and empty. I force myself to sit up. I am going north. I will find this sanctuary. I will deliver my message, and then I will disappear. I stand up, taking a shaky step toward the lightning trail.
Chapter 19. Mogor. She is gone. The cave is silent except for the roar of the waterfall outside and the ragged sound of my own breathing. I'm still on my knees in the dirt where I fell when her footsteps faded. I should get up. I should secure the entrance. But I don't move. The small stone room is suffocating. It is thick with her scent, honey and fear, and the heavy, musky aroma of our mating. It clings to the furs we shared. It lingers in the air where she cried. It is poison. I let out a roar that tears raw the lining of my throat. I lunge to my feet, grabbing the furs she slept on. I rip them apart, shredding the thick hides with my bare hands until my fingers ache. I hurl the remnants against the wall. It is not enough. The scent is still there. I kick dirt over the place where we lay together. I try to scrub her existence from the stone floor with the heels of my boots. But it is useless. She is burned into this place. She is burned into me. I failed him. I let his killer go because she smelled sweet, because she felt good under my hands. The vow is screaming at me, a chorus of ancestors calling me a coward. I have to get out of here. I crash through the curtain of water, stumbling out into the pitch-black night. The icy deluge hits me like a hammer, soaking my leathers instantly. Good. I stand under the freezing torrent. I scrub at my skin, trying to wash the feel of her off me. I scrub until my skin is raw and red. until I am numb from the cold, but I can still feel the phantom press of her small hands on my chest. The bond is howling now, a wounded animal thrashing in my blood. It knows she is alone in the dark. It demands I go after her. It shows me images of her stumbling in the dark, being hunted by things she cannot see without her magic. Let them have her, the vow snarls. She deserves it. I step out of the water, shivering violently. I do not go after her. I am an Iron Tusk warrior. I'm not a slave to this biological curse. I sit on a wet boulder facing the direction she went. I will not follow, but I will not sleep. I will sit here and let the cold seep into my bones until it freezes the part of me that still wants her. Dawn breaks gray and miserable over Rach. The rain has stopped, leaving the world dripping and sodden. I stop, looking at the tracks she left, heading due north. I see the small, stumbling boot prints in the mud, heading due north toward the coast. She listened. She's going to the sanctuary. I stop looking at the tracks. They're already filling with water. In an hour, they will be gone. The urge to follow her is a physical pain, a hook behind my navel dragging me north. It would be so easy. I could catch her in an hour. I could... What? Kill her? Kiss her? I don't know, and that is why I cannot go. I turn my back on the north. I force myself to take one step south, then another. Every step stretches the bond tighter, pulling at my very core until I feel like I am tearing in half. I keep walking. I walk until I cannot see her tracks anymore. I walk until the bond is just a dull, unending scream of agony in my mind. I am empty. I have no father, no mate, no clan. I'm just a husk of an orc walking through a dead forest. I stop when I reach the clearing where we killed the dark elves. The bodies are still there, bloated now, feasted upon by the scavengers of Rach. The stench is horrific, but it is better than the scent of honey and betrayal. A thought strikes me, cold and sharp. They're still out there. They are the ones who captured my father. They are the ones who hired her, who broke him until he begged for death. She was just the blade. They were the hand that swung it. A new purpose begins to form in the desolate wasteland of my heart. It is not hope. It is not healing. It is just cold, focused rage. I cannot have her. I cannot have peace. But I can have blood. I grip my axe. It feels heavy again. Good. I will find every syndicate slaver on this continent. I will find the dark elf who gave the order to torture my father. And I will burn their entire operation to the ground, ash by bloody ash. I am Iron Tusk. I do not need a mate. I only need a war.
Chapter 20. Lynn. Every step is a physical tearing. The bond, which had just begun to settle into a warm, steady rhythm in my chest, is now screaming. It feels like peeling off my own skin, inch by agonizing inch. I don't run. I don't have the strength to run. I just walk, my boots heavy with mud, my body numb with a cold that has very little to do with the damp Rach air. He didn't kill me. He should have. It would have been cleaner. It would have stopped this awful, hollow aching that is spreading through me like a slow poison. I can still feel him behind me. Not his physical presence, but the overwhelming weight of him in my mind. I can feel his rage, his betrayal. It crashes against my own guilt, a tidal wave threatening to drown me. I touch the bandage on my arm. He cleaned my wound. He made love to me with a reverence I have never experienced, never even dreamed of. And I repaid him by tearing open his deepest wound. I deserve this. I deserve the cold and the mud and the horrible, suffocating loneliness. I am the Wraith. I am a weapon that broke its masters, but I am still just a weapon. I was never meant to have a mate. I was never meant to be happy. I stumble, falling to my knees in the sludge. I don't get up right away. I just kneel there, letting the damp seep into my tattered trousers, wishing the earth would just open up and swallow me. Dawn brings no warmth, only a sullen grey light that filters through the canopy, turning the forest into a maze of grotesque shadows. I have been walking for hours, but I don't know where I am going. North, I think. Toward the coast. Toward the sanctuary he spoke of. Why? He won't be there. He will never go there now, knowing I might be there. I have ruined that for him too, stolen his chance at a reunion with his brothers. I should turn, go back to the human settlements, fade into the background of some wretched shanty town, and wait for the syndicate to inevitably find me. I stop, leaning against a moss-slicked tree to catch my breath. I am empty. My magic is gone, burned away in the fight against the guild. I have no food, no water, only the crude orcish dagger tucked into my belt. It still smells of him, leather and iron. I grip the hilt, the rough wrapping biting into my palm. It is the only thing I have left of him. A twig snaps nearby. I freeze. It's not a heavy sound. It's light, precise. I am not alone. I don't have time to hide. I barely have time to turn around before they stepped out of the shadows. 6 of them this time. They wear the same grey leathers as the ones Mogor slaughtered, but these are clean, fresh. And leading them is not another faceless hunter. It is Master Varric. He stands there, tall and imperious, his pale, angular face twisted into a mocking smile. He is a high mage of the syndicate, the man who trained me, the man who broke me the first time. "Little ghost," he purrs, his voice smooth as poisoned silk. "You look terrible." I reach for my magic, but there is nothing there, just a dry, aching void. Varric tuts, wagging a long, manicured finger at me. "None of that now. We sensed your little outburst yesterday, breaking a Class 4 stasis web. Very impressive. Suicidal, but impressive. You must be completely dry." He takes a step forward. The other 5 assassins fan out, encircling me. They don't look worried. They see a broken toy, ready for collection. "Where is your pet monster?" Varric asks, glancing around the empty forest. "The reports said you had an iron tusk bodyguard. Did he finally realise what you are and leave you to rot?" The insult to Mogor, the casual dismissal of the most honourable man I've ever met, sparks a tiny flicker of heat in my cold ashes. "He's not a pet," I rasp, drawing the dagger. It feels pitifully small against 6 trained killers. Varric laughs. It's a genuine, amused sound that makes my skin crawl. "Oh, that is precious. You fell for him, didn't you? The Wraith, in love with a savage?" His smile vanishes, replaced by cold, hard cruelty. "Put down the knife, Lynn. You know you can't beat me without power." He's right, but I won't go back quietly. I won't let them put the collar back on me without bleeding for it. I lunge at the nearest assassin. I am slow, exhausted, but I still remember the forms. I feint high, aiming low for the femoral artery. He easily parries my clumsy strike, his boot snapping out to catch me in the stomach. I fold, gasping, dropping to the mud. The dagger slips from my hand. Varric is on me instantly. He doesn't use magic. He grabs a fistful of my hair, yanking my head back until my neck pops. "Pathetic," he sneers, leaning down so his cold breath washes over my face. "Look at you, rolling in the dirt like the animals you consort with." He pulls something from his belt, a thick silver collar etched with suppression runes. "No," I whisper, thrashing weakly. He snaps it around my neck. It locks with a deafening click. The remaining sliver of my connection to the ether, the tiny passive recharge that had just started, is instantly severed. It feels like being blinded and deafened all at once. I am truly empty now. Just meat. "Time to come home, little ghost," Varric says, dragging me to my feet. "We have so much work left to do."
Chapter 21. Mogor. I walk south, away from her, away from the sanctuary. Every step is a labor. The bond is a physical tether, a hook buried deep in my gut that drags against my spine with every yard I put between us. It is a dull, unending ache, a chorus of instinct screaming that I'm going the wrong way. I ignore it. I'm good at ignoring pain. I focus on the tracks I am following. The older, colder trail of the syndicate slavers who took my father. It is difficult. The rain has washed away most of the sign, leaving only deep indentations in the mud where heavy wagons passed days ago. I tell myself this is right. I tell myself I am an iron-tusk warrior, and my honor demands blood for the fallen chieftain. But the forest feels empty without her small, stumbling presence beside me. I catch myself slowing down, waiting for her to catch up, before I remember she is not there. She is gone. I sent her away. The memory of her face in that cave, the raw, devastating honesty of her confession, keeps flashing in my mind, overlaying the tracks in the mud. She begged me for death. My father's words, spoken by her lips. I snarl, shaking my head like a beast trying to dislodge a biting fly. She is a liar. She is a syndicate assassin. She played me for a fool. I try to summon the rage. It usually comes so easily, a comforting red haze that burns away doubt. But today the rage is cold. It is wet ashes in my chest, providing no heat, no strength. The attack hits me without warning. I am kneeling in the mud, examining a broken wagon wheel spoke when the world turns white. It is not a physical blow. It is the bond. It goes from a dull ache to a piercing, shrieking siren of absolute terror. It is her terror, transmitted straight into my blood. I gasp, dropping the spoke, clutching at my chest. It feels like someone has reached inside me and squeezed my heart until it nearly bursts. Just as suddenly as it started, it stops. Not a slow fade. A violent, instantaneous severing. 1 second she's there in the back of my consciousness, a terrified, frantic presence. The next second, nothing. Silence. A void so absolute it feels like death. Lynn? I roar her name, the sound tearing out of me before I can stop it. I wait for the answering pulse. The familiar hum of her existence that has been with me since that first clearing. Nothing. Just a cold, gaping hole where she used to be. They have her. Or she is dead. The thought brings me to my feet, my axe already in my hand. If she were dead, the bond would have shattered, leaving me broken. This feels different. This feels like she has been muted, smothered. Syndicate suppression collars. I've seen them used on mage slaves. They cut off the connection to the ether, leaving the victim magically blind and deaf. They didn't just catch her. They leashed her. I don't weigh the vow against the bond. I just move. I spin around and run back the way I came. I run faster than I have ever run in my life, ignoring the burn in my injured thigh, ignoring the treacherous mud that tries to slow me down. I am not hunting a ghost anymore. I am hunting the thing that dared to touch what is mine. It takes me an hour to find the spot. I smell it before I see it, the cloying, oily scent of the guild. Master assassins. The clearing is a mess of trampled mud. I see where she fell. I see the drag marks where she was hauled to her feet. I find the dagger I gave her. It is half buried in the sludge, discarded and useless. I pick it up, wiping the mud from the crude iron blade. She didn't even get a chance to use it. There are 6 sets of tracks besides hers. One set is deeper, heavier. The leader? I scent the air, growling low in my throat. I know this scent. Varric, a high-ranking syndicate mage hunter. He is soft, arrogant, and likes to play with his food before he eats it. He has her. The rage finally returns. It is not the cold ash of before. It is a towering inferno, hot enough to melt steel. It is a pure, focusing clarity that burns away all my conflict, all my doubt. She killed my father. That debt is still unpaid. But she is my mate. She belongs to me. Her life is mine to take or spare, and no sleek, perfumed syndicate elf is going to steal that right from me. If Varric has her, he will take her back to their forward operating base. He will want to break her, to punish her for running. He will do things to her that make death look like a mercy. The image of her in a collar, helpless and surrounded by them, makes my vision swim with red. I vow to avenge my father. I vow to burn the syndicate to the ground. Now I can do both. I won't just find them. I will slaughter every single one of them. I will peel the skin from Varric's bones while he is still breathing. And then I will find Lynn, and I will decide her fate myself. I slide her dagger into my belt next to my own. Hold on, little witch, I snarl into the silent forest. I am coming. I break into a run, following the fresh, reeking trail of the guild south. The vow is still there, but it has changed. It is no longer just about the dead. It is about protecting the one thing in this miserable world that is mine. Escape this world and step into one where romance and magic intertwine across realms, with stories that are not just standalone tales, but part of a vast, interconnected universe.
Imagine not just one, but 100 stories, where characters, destinies, and legends cross paths in unexpected ways.
100 audiobooks from the Romantasy 100 book bundle.
These aren't just isolated stories. They share themes, worlds, and threads that make every journey feel part of something grander.
Fated lovers, ancient prophecies, and the delicate balance between power and passion.
Get all of these stories today for a mind-blowing 90% off. That's right, 100 audiobooks for the price of 10.
800 hours of audio where these alpha males prove just how puny the human men of Protheka are. 12 complete series where they show their human women what they've been missing, and more.
One-time purchase, lifetime access to a universe of interconnected magic and romance.
Protheka's magic is eternal. With the Romantasy 100 book bundle, your pleasure will be too.
Chapter 22. Lynn. The collar is heavy, cold metal that saps the heat from my skin. It doesn't just block my magic, it actively drains it. Every time my core tries to naturally regenerate a spark of power, the runes etched into the silver flare hot against my throat, burning the energy away before it can form. It is a constant, sickening cycle of reach and recoil. I'm spiritually gagged. They don't let me walk. They drag me. 2 of the assassins grip my arms, hauling me through the forest at a brutal pace. My boots catch on roots, my knees scrape against stones, but they don't slow down. Varric walks ahead, unhurried, graceful. He doesn't need to run. He knows he has already won. "You've lost weight, Lynn," he calls back over his shoulder, his voice conversational, as if we are strolling through a palace garden instead of a muddy hellscape. "Living like a feral animal doesn't suit you. You were always meant for silk and steel, not mud." I don't answer. I can't. My throat is raw, my energy completely spent. I just focus on putting one foot in front of the other, trying to keep my dignity even as they treat me like a sack of grain. We stop briefly when we reach a wider game trail. Varric turns, signalling for his men to drop me. I hit the ground hard, too exhausted to catch myself. He crouches beside me, tilting my chin up with the tip of his scabbard. "Now," he says softly, "tell me about your orc." I try to say something. He's not my orc. He's just someone I hired. Varric tuts, a disappointed noise. "Lies are beneath you, Wraith. I smelled him on you. Musk, blood, and that sickeningly sweet scent of a mating bond. You let a savage claim you." He stands up, wiping his scabbard as if my skin dirtied it. It's disgusting, of course, bestiality, but useful. "Leave him alone," I croak. He has absolutely nothing to do with this. He has everything to do with this. He is an iron tusk warrior, a loose end. Varric smiles, thin and cruel. He's tracking us right now, isn't he? Following the bond like a faithful hound. My blood runs cold. It is a trap. I am the bait. He won't come. I lie, desperate to believe it. He hates me. I told him what I did to his father. Varric laughs, delighted. Oh, even better. A conflicted beast is an unpredictable one. But he will come. The bond doesn't care about hate. It only cares about possession. And I have his property. We reach the main road an hour later. Waiting there is a syndicate caravan, 3 heavily armoured wagons drawn by massive, sullen beasts of burden. There are more guards here, at least a dozen regular soldiers to supplement Varric's elite hunters. It is a mobile fortress. Mogor cannot fight this, not alone. They drag me to the centre wagon. It is a cage on wheels, bars of thick, blackened iron reinforced with suppression wards. Home sweet home, one of the assassins sneers, shoving me inside. I stumble, cracking my shoulder against the bars. The door slams shut with a sound like a tomb ceiling. I grip the cold iron, looking out at the darkening forest. I can't sense him. The collar makes me magically blind. But I know he is out there. I know he is coming. Don't, I beg silently, hoping that maybe the mate bond works even when magic doesn't. Please, Mogor, just let me go. Don't die for me. Night falls. The soldiers make camp around the wagons, lighting fires that cast long, dancing shadows into the trees. They are loud, confident. They want to be found. I sit huddled in the corner of my cage. It smells of old fear, urine and sweat from whoever was locked in here before me. I close my eyes, trying to find the bond. It's there, but it's muffled, like hearing a shout underwater. It's a dull, persistent ache in the centre of my chest, separate from the magical drain of the collar. It is throbbing, a steady, angry rhythm that matches my own heartbeat. He is close. I press my forehead against the cold iron bars. I don't deserve saving. I don't deserve him. But gods, I don't want him to die because of my mistakes. Stay away, you stubborn fool, I whisper into the dark. Somewhere in the trees, a nightbird goes silent, as if disturbed by a large, stealthy predator. He didn't listen.
Chapter 23. Mogor. The beasts of burden are massive, scaled nightmares native to the southern swamps of Raich. Up close, they smell intensely of ammonia and raw, stifled aggression. Their heavy, club-like tails thump restlessly against the mud, creating a low, vibrating rhythm that masks my approach. They hate captivity. I can see it in the milky film over their small, mean eyes, and the way they strain against the thick leather traces, binding them to the iron-reinforced wagons. They hate the dark elves who beat them into this sullen submission. Perfect. I move between them, a shadow slipping through a forest of scaled legs and heaving flanks. The heat radiating from their massive bodies is intense, making the air thick and hard to breathe. They scent me, predator, orc, and a low rumble starts in their varied throats. Easy, I whisper, pressing a hand flat against the nearest one's thick hide. It is rough as sandstone. I'm not trying to soothe them. I'm holding their rage in check for just a moment longer. I draw my spare dagger. I don't cut their throats. I saw through the thick, oiled leather traces, one by one. The tension in the leather snaps with audible cracks as they break free. When the last one is loose, I move behind the largest bull. He is old, scarred from 100 whippings, and looking for a fight. I decide to give him one. I drive the dagger an inch deep into his muscular hindquarter. Not enough to cripple him, just enough to replace his fear with blinding pain. He bellows, a sound like tearing metal that drowns out the camp's noise, and charges. He goes straight for the main fire, straight toward the soldiers who enslaved him. The others, smelling the sudden outpouring of blood and sensing the broken traces, follow him in a thundering, unstoppable stampede of scales and fury. Chaos is beautiful. The camp explodes into noise and violence. The ground shakes violently enough to rattle my teeth as the beasts crash through tents, trampling mercenaries who are too slow to wake from their drunken stupors. Men scream as they are gored by massive blunt tusks or crushed under tonnage of angry muscle. The dark elves are shouting orders that no one can hear over the roaring of the beasts and the crackle of scattered fires. I do not watch the destruction. I use it. I am a ghost in the mayhem, moving against the flow of panic. I come up behind a mercenary who is frantically trying to load a heavy crossbow, his hands shaking too hard to set the bolt. My axe takes his head before he even knows I'm there. Another turns, seeing me through the smoke. His eyes widen in terror, realizing the stampede was not an accident. He raises his sword, but he is distracted by a beast rampaging past us, its tail knocking over a weapons rack. I shoulder check him directly into the animal's path. It tramples him without breaking stride. I don't wait to see if he gets up. 12 mercenaries. Now 10. Now 8. I carve a path through them, letting the beasts do the heavy work while I finish the stragglers. I move toward the center, toward the motionless cage wagon. The bond is pulsing harder now. No longer just a muffled ache, but a frantic, driving drumbeat that guides me through the blinding smoke and choking dust. She knows I'm here. Varric's voice cuts through the din, magically amplified to boom over the chaos. "Rally to the wagons! Guild, secure the asset! It's a diversion!" He is smart. He knows this is just noise. He knows the real threat is coming for the cage. The mercenaries are dying or fleeing, their morale broken by the stampede. But the 6 guild assassins didn't panic. They didn't scatter into the woods. They converged. They stand in a loose, disciplined semicircle around the cage wagon, weapons drawn, their cold eyes scanning the shifting darkness. They know I have to come to them. I step out of the swirling smoke 10 yards from their line. I am covered in fresh blood, my axe dripping thick red droplets into the churned mud. "Iron Tusk," one of them says. His voice is flat, devoid of emotion or surprise. "We expected you sooner." "I was busy," I rumble, jerking my head toward the ruined camp behind me, where screams still echo. They don't wait for Varric's order. They attack as one, a coordinated unit of lethal grace that contrasts sharply with the brute force of the mercenaries. They are faster than the ones I've fought in the forest, better equipped. 2 come high, leaping over debris, while 2 slide low, aiming for my tendons. The last 2 circle wide, looking to flank me while I am engaged. I don't wait for them to set their trap. I charge the center too. They expect me to swing my axe in a wide arc. Instead, I use the haft as a shield, catching their combined poisoned blades on the reinforced wood and steel. I kick out, a piston-like thrust that catches the nearest one in the knee. The joint shatters backward with a sickening crunch. He goes down screaming, and I silence him with a brutal downward chop of the axe head that splits his collarbone. 5. A sharp, stinging pain flares in my side. A shallow cut from one of the flanking assassins, who moved faster than I anticipated. It burns instantly, a cold fire spreading through my veins. Poison. I ignore it. I have fought through worse than a little venom. I fight like a demon now. I'm not fighting for honor or for the clan or for my father's ghost. I am fighting for her. Every blow I strike, every bone I shatter, is fueled by the image of her in that collar, helpless in their iron cage. I kill another one, catching his throat with the beard of my axe as he tries to roll away from my charge. 4 left. They are wary now, stepping back, giving me space. They realize they are not fighting a standard orc. They are fighting a force of nature that does not care about pain. I push forward, inch by bloody inch, until I can see past them to the cage. She is there. She is gripping the bars, her face pressed against the cold iron, heedless of the chaos around her. Her dark eyes meet mine across the melee. They are wide, terrified, and filled with such desperate, naked hope it nearly brings me to my knees right there in the mud. "Mogor!" she screams. her voice raw and cracking. I roar in answer, a promise that I am coming, that nothing in this world, not poison, not assassins, not the gods themselves, will stop me. Then a shadow detaches itself from the top of the cage wagon. Varric drops down in front of the door, landing silently, impossibly graceful amidst the slaughter. He's holding a wicked curved dagger, the tip resting gently against the complex lock mechanism of the cage door. "Another step, beast," he calls out calmly, his smooth voice cutting effortlessly over the sounds of battle. "And I bleed her right here in front of you."
Chapter 24. Lynn. The battlefield freezes. It's not a magical stasis. It is the sheer, terrifying power of Varric's threat. I see Mogor stop. He is a towering, blood-drenched nightmare of an orc, mid-charge, his axe raised to cleave another assassin in two. But at Varric's words, he turns to stone. His chest heaves, the breath soaring in and out of his lungs, loud enough for me to hear even over the crackle of the burning camp. His yellow eyes lock onto mine through the iron bars. They are wild with rage and a desperate, agonizing fear that I put there. "Good beast," Varric purrs. He doesn't look at Mogor. He looks at me, his pale eyes dancing with sadistic delight. He taps the tip of his curved dagger against the complex lock of my cage. Tink, tink, tink. See how easy it is, Lynn? You thought you found a protector. You just found another leash for me to hold. I grip the bars until my hands cramp, the cold iron biting into my palms. I want to scream at Mogor to run, to finish the fight, to not let this monster use me against him. But the collar is a heavy, suffocating weight that seems to crush the words before they reach my throat. "Let him go, Varric," I rasp. It hurts to speak. "He's nothing to you. You have me." "Oh, but he is everything," Varric corrects softly. "An iron tusk warrior who has broken his vow, who is enslaved to a human female. The guild could use a beast like that. Imagine the terror he will inspire when we break him to our harness." The thought makes my blood run cold. They don't just want to kill him. They want to make him. They want to turn the most honourable creature I've ever known into a mindless weapon for syndicate profit. "He will never serve you," I spit, finding a spark of my old fire. "He would die first." "Everyone breaks eventually, little ghost. You did." Varric smiles, a thin expression that doesn't reach his dead eyes. "And he will break faster because we will use you to do it. Every time he disobeys, you bleed. Simple. Effective." He looks back at Mogor, raising his voice. "Drop the axe, orc, or I open this door and carve your initials into her pretty face." Mogor's roar is a sound of pure, impotent torture. He shakes with the effort of holding back. The remaining guild assassins are regrouping, sensing his hesitation, moving to encircle him again. If he drops that axe, they will swarm him. They will drug him, chain him, and drag him back to the same hell I just escaped. I can't let that happen. I murdered his father to save him from that fate. I will not let the son suffer it because I was too weak to fight back. I look at Varric. He is arrogant. He thinks I am declawed because of the collar. He thinks I am just a mage who forgot how to use a knife. He forgot who trained me before the magic manifested. He forgot I was a killer long before I was a sorceress. I back away from the door slowly. Varric thinks I am cowering. "That's it," he sneers. "Know your place, pet." I reach the back wall of the cage. It is dark here, shadowed by the heavy iron plating. I crouch down, my hands searching the floorboards. They are thick oak, reinforced with steel bands, but this wagon is old. It's seen dozens of captives, years of rough roads. I find it. A loose carriage bolt near the corner, rattled free by the stampede. I work it frantically, my fingers slipping on the oily metal. It won't come all the way out, but it's loose enough to wiggle. It's not a weapon, but it's a tool. Varric is still focused on Mogor, enjoying the power play. I said drop it, beast. 3 seconds, 1. I jam the bolt head into the gap between the floorboards and the iron wall plating. I need leverage. I need an anchor. I don't have magic, but I have the bond. It's muffled, throbbing painfully under the collar's suppression, but it's there. It's a connection to a boundless source of primal fury. I close my eyes, and instead of reaching for the ether, I reach down. I reach for him. I grab onto that muffled connection and pull. I don't try to cast a spell. I just try to borrow a fraction of his strength. The collar flares hot, trying to suppress it, but this isn't arcane magic. It's something older, something deeper. A jolt of raw adrenaline, hot and coppery, floods my veins. It's not my strength. It's his. 2. Varric counts, his finger tightening on the latch mechanism. Mogor's grip on his axe loosens. He is going to do it. He is going to surrender. No! I scream. I throw myself at the cage door. Not at the bars, at the lock mechanism itself from the inside. I jam the loosened carriage bolt into the internal gears, just as Varric tries to slide it open. Metal shrieks against metal. The mechanism jams violently. Varric snarls, yanking at the handle, but it's stuck fast. He can't open the door. He can't get to me without taking the time to break the lock completely. I broke it! I shout at Mogor, my voice raw with triumph and terror. He can't get in! Fight, Mogor, fight! Varric's composure shatters. He slams the hilt of his dagger against the bars, missing my face by an inch as I scramble back. You stupid brat! Mogor hears me. He sees Varric's frustration, realizes the immediate hostage threat is neutralized. The hesitation vanishes. The beast is off the leash. He roars, a sound of pure, unadulterated battle joy, and swings his axe. The first assassin, who had crept too close thinking Mogor was pacified, loses his head before he can even raise his sword. Varric spins away from the cage, his face a mask of utter fury. He realizes he has lost his leverage. He realizes he has to fight an enraged Iron Tusk warrior the hard way. Kill him! Varric shrieks at his remaining men, abandoning the cage to find a better tactical position. Kill them both!
Chapter 25. Mogor. Her shout breaks the stalemate. It is a physical thing, cracking the air like a whip, shattering the suffocating hold of Varric's threat. I broke it. The words hit me like a shot of pure adrenaline. She didn't cower. She didn't wait for me to save her. She fought. The roaring in my ears changes pitch. It is no longer the sound of impotent rage. It is the sound of a landslide beginning its unstoppable descent. Kill him! Varric shrieks, scrambling back from the cage door as if it has suddenly grown fangs. The remaining guild assassins rush me. They are fast, professional killers who know exactly how to take down a larger opponent. They come in low, blades coated in that virulent purple poison, aiming for the gaps in my leathers, for the arteries in my thighs. I do not try to dodge. I do not try to parry. I welcome them. I drop my axe, letting it hang by its wrist strap. I catch the first assassin mid-leap. His swords are fast, but I am faster. I grab his head with both hands. His momentum carries him forward, but my grip is absolute. I twist. The sound of his neck snapping is lost in the chaos, but the feeling of life leaving him is distinct under my palms. I throw his twitching corpse at the two coming from the left, tangling their limbs for the fraction of a second I need. I retrieve my axe with a flick of my wrist. The leather strap snaps taut, bringing the haft back into my palm. I'm a whirlwind of steel and green skin. I do not fight with technique now. I fight with pure, unadulterated violence. I am Iron Tusk. I'm the mountain that walks. A blade catches me in the bicep, burning like acid. Another slices shallowly across my ribs. I barely feel them. The bond is singing in my blood, a furious, triumphant war drum that drowns out pain. I cleave one assassin from collarbone to hip. His armor does nothing to slow the heavy orcish steel. Another tries to dart under my guard. I stomp down, catching his ankle. Bone crunches under my heavy boot. He falls, screaming, and I silence him with a brutal backhand stroke of the axe head that caves in his skull. 2 left, plus Varric. They are backing away now. The cold professionalism in their eyes has been replaced by dawning terror. They realize they miscalculated. They thought they were fighting a broken beast. They are fighting a warlord protecting his mate. "Hold him!" Varric shouts from behind the safety of the remaining mercenaries, who are finally regrouping near the lead wagon. "Mages, suppress him!" Bolts of chaos magic begin to fly from the mercenary ranks. They are sloppy compared to the guild, but there are many of them. Purple lightning strikes the ground around me, sizzling in the mud, throwing up clouds of steaming earth. One bolt hits my shoulder, feeling like a battering ram made of fire. I grunt, stumbling 1 step back, but I do not fall. I cannot let them pin me down. If they establish a firing line, they will wear me down by sheer volume of fire. I need cover. I look at the cage wagon. It is heavily armored, iron plating over thick oak. I charge it, not to break in. She has already done the hard work there, but to use it as a shield. I slam my shoulder into the back corner of the wagon, putting the massive vehicle between me and the archers and mages. The impact shakes the whole structure. I hear her gasp inside. "Mogor!" Her voice is right there, just on the other side of the iron plating. "I am here!" I roar, turning to put my back against the wagon. I am the wall now. Nothing gets past me to that door. Varric sees my tactical shift. His perfectly pale face twists into a snarl that is anything but beautiful. "Burn him out! Torch the wagon!" "Sir, the woman is inside," one of the mercenaries yells. "She's useless to me dead, but she's worse than useless if she escapes." Varric screams, losing his composure entirely. "Burn it!" Fire arrows begin to arc through the night sky, trailing plumes of orange sparks. They thud into the wooden roof of the cage wagon. The oiled timber catches instantly. Heat blooms against my back. They're going to cook us alive. I turn to the cage door. I can hear her inside, coughing as smoke begins to fill the confined space. "Lynn! The door!" I hammer my fist against the iron. "It's jammed," she chokes out. "The bolt... I broke the lock, but it's stuck." I jam my fingers into the tiny gap between the door and the frame. The iron is hot now, heating up rapidly from the fire above. It sears my skin, blistering my fingertips. I ignore it. I brace my feet in the mud, my muscles screaming as I pull. I put every ounce of my strength, every drop of rage and desperation into that pull. Metal screeches in protest. The heavy iron hinges groan. With a final massive heave, I rip the door outward. The screech of tearing metal is deafening as the lock mechanism finally disintegrates. Smoke billows out, thick and acrid. And through the smoke, she tumbles out. She falls right into my arms. She is covered in soot, coughing violently, the silver collar still gleaming mockingly at her throat. She looks up at me, her eyes streaming from the smoke. "Took you long enough," she rasps, and then she grips my blood-soaked leathers. "Varric?" He has the key to the collar. I look over her head at the chaos of the burning camp, at the pale elf commanding his troops to incinerate us. "Then I will go get it," I growl.
Chapter 26. Lynn. Air. It is thick with smoke and the stench of burning oiled wood, but it is air. I cough violently, my lungs spasming as they try to clear the smoke I inhaled in the cage. Mogor's arms are massive bands of iron around me, holding me up when my legs refuse to work. He is covered in blood, so much of it that his green skin looks almost black in the flickering firelight. He smells of slaughter and burning leather, but beneath it all, the bond is roaring, a triumphant, deafening sound that finally drowns out the silence of the collar. "Can you stand?" he demands, his voice rough with urgency. "Yes," I lie, forcing my trembling legs to lock. He doesn't believe me, but he doesn't have a choice. The battle isn't over. Varric is still out there, and the mercenaries are regrouping, realizing the stampede has passed. Stay here. Use the wagon for cover. He grips my shoulder, his thumb brushing the hateful silver metal at my throat. I will get the key. He doesn't wait for an answer. He turns and charges back into the inferno of the camp, a titan seeking one specific life to end. I slide down against the iron wheel of the burning wagon. The heat is intense at my back, but it's better than being exposed. I am magically mute, physically exhausted, and armed with nothing but my own desperation. I hate it. I hate being the damsel huddling in the shadows while he bleeds for me. A shape stumbles out of the smoke to my left. It's not Mogor, it's one of the mercenaries, a human, his face blackened with soot, his leathers torn. He spots me and grins, revealing broken teeth. He sees a small collared woman, easy pickings. Well now, he wheezes, drawing a serrated belt knife. Looks like the boss's pet got loose. I don't have magic. I don't have a weapon. Mogor still has my dagger. But I have rage, and I have dirt. He lunges, expecting me to cower. I don't. I drop flat, grabbing a handful of mud and ash. As he stumbles over me, I thrust my hand upward, smashing the gritty mixture straight into his eyes. He howls, dropping the knife to claw at his face. I scramble up, snatching the fallen blade. I don't hesitate. I learned how to kill long before I learned how to cast. I drive the serrated knife into the soft spot under his jaw, pushing until my knuckles hit his stubble. He drops without another sound. I stand over him, breathing hard, shaking. I am not helpless. I am syndicate trained. I look toward the center of the camp. The smoke parts momentarily, revealing the duel. Mogor has found Varric. It is a terrifying mismatch. Mogor is pure, unstoppable force, swinging his axe with earth-shattering power. But Varric is smoke and mirrors. He is impossibly fast, darting under the axe swings, his twin daggers flashing out to score shallow, stinging cuts on Mogor's arms and ribs. Varric is smiling. He is enjoying this. He is using small bursts of kinetic magic to deflect the heaviest blows, saving his real power for a killing strike. I see it, the silver key on a fine chain around Varric's neck. It glints in the firelight every time he moves. "He's too slow, pet!" Varric shouts, knowing I'm watching. He ducks another swing and slashes Mogor across the stomach. It's not deep thanks to Mogor's thick leathers, but it draws a roar of frustration from the orc. Varric is toying with him. He's waiting for Mogor to tire, to make a mistake born of rage. I have to do something. I can't cast, but I can still influence the battlefield. I look at the burning wagon behind me. The wheel I was leaning against is smouldering. The wooden chocks holding it in place are nearly burnt through. If I can get it moving. I put my shoulder against the massive iron-rimmed wheel. It is hot enough to blister my skin through my thin tunic. I ignore the pain. I push with everything I have left in my battered body. The chock crumbles into ash. The wagon, already sitting on a slight incline, groans. It starts to roll. Slowly at first, then gathering speed, a blazing juggernaut heading straight for the centre of the camp. "Mogor, move!" I scream. He hears me. He doesn't look, he just trusts. He throws himself sideways, rolling through the mud. Varric turns too late. He sees the wall of fire and iron bearing down on him. His eyes widen. He throws up a kinetic shield, but it's meant for arrows, not wagons. The impact is deafening. The wagon clips him, shattering his shield and sending him flying backward into a stack of crates. He is stunned, gasping on the ground. Mogor is on him instantly. He doesn't try to kill him yet. He reaches down, one massive hand wrapping around Varric's throat, lifting him off the ground. With the other hand, he rips the silver chain from the elf's neck. Varric shrieks, thrashing, blasting Mogor point blank with magic, but Mogor just takes it, snarling through the pain. He turns and hurls the small silver object through the air. It lands in the mud near my feet. The key. I drop to my knees, frantically searching the sludge until my fingers close around cool metal. I jam it into the lock at my throat. I twist. The collar clicks open and falls away. The silence in my soul shatters. Magic, raw, furious, and desperate, floods back into me like a breaking dam. It rushes through my veins, hot as lava, washing away the exhaustion, the pain, the fear. I stand up. My eyes are glowing. Now it's a fair fight.
Chapter 27. Mogor. The moment the collar breaks, the world explodes into color. It is not a physical color. It is the bond. It goes from a dead, silent void to a roaring inferno in the space of a single heartbeat. Her power doesn't just return to her. It floods into me through our connection, a torrent of raw, agonizing energy that is hotter than the burning wagons. I roar, the sound magnified by the sheer force of her presence in my mind. My fatigue vanishes. The pain in my leg, the burning of the poison in my side, it all gets washed away by the tidal wave of her magic. I see her stand up by the burning wagon. She is not the small, frightened human I carried through the woods. She is terrifying. Her hair is floating around her face, lifted by the sheer output of her power. Her eyes are twin pools of violet light. A mercenary, one of the last few stupid enough to still be fighting, charges her. He thinks she is unarmed. She doesn't even look at him. She just flicks her wrist. The mud at his feet turns instantly to stone, trapping him mid-stride. The momentum snaps both his shins with a sound like dry kindling breaking. He falls, screaming, and she silences him with a bolt of pure kinetic force that caves in his chest. Wraith. The name fits her now. I fight my way toward her. It is easier now. I am not just fighting with my own strength, I am fighting with ours. Varric sees her rise. For the first time, the arrogant mask slips completely, revealing genuine fear. He knows what she is. He trained her, and he knows that with her magic unbound, he is outmatched. He tries to run. He throws another smoke bomb, trying to vanish into the chaos of the burning camp. No, Lynn says. Her voice is not a shout, but it carries over the roar of the fire, magically amplified. She thrusts both hands forward. The smoke doesn't just clear. It is ripped away violently, as if by a hurricane. Varric is revealed, stumbling near the very edge of the clearing. I am there before he can recover. I swing my axe, a killing blow meant to end this nightmare right now. He is fast. Gods, he is fast. He twists midair, his twin daggers deflecting my axe blade just enough so it bites into his shoulder armor instead of his neck. He hisses in pain, rolling away, coming up in a crouch. He is bleeding now. Good. We have him trapped between us. Me with my axe, Lynn with her hands glowing with lethal violet light. The rest of his men are dead or fled. It is just us. It's over, Varric, I rumble, advancing slowly. I want him to feel the fear he inflicted on her. He looks between us, his eyes darting frantically, calculating odds that no longer favor him. He wipes blood from his mouth with the back of a gloved hand. Is it? He snarls. You think this changes anything, beast? She is still guild property. You are still just a savage playing dress-up with civilized concepts like love. He moves not toward me, but toward her. It is a desperate, suicidal charge. He knows he cannot beat me in a straight fight, and he knows her magic is stronger than his blades. But he also knows us. He knows I will try to intercept him. I take the bait. I lunge forward to cut him off, to protect her. It is a feint. He drops instantly, sliding under my axe swing in the mud, twisting his body in a way that shouldn't be possible. He isn't aiming for her. He is aiming past her, at the burning wagon she is standing next to. He throws a small black sphere at the wheel hub. Lynn, move, I roar. The sphere detonates. It's not a large explosion, just enough to shatter the already weakened axle of the burning wagon. The massive vehicle lurches, tipping violently toward her. Tons of burning wood and hot iron begin to fall. She has to react. She throws up both hands, catching the falling wagon with a massive telekinetic shield. The sheer weight of it drives her to her knees, her entire body trembling with the effort of holding it up so it doesn't crush her. She is trapped. If she drops the shield, she dies. Varric doesn't waste a second. While she is pinned by the weight of the burning wagon, he is on her. He slips inside her guard, ignoring the heat, and grabs her hair. He yanks her head back, placing his curved, poison dagger right against her jugular. "Drop it, orc," he pants, his face twisted into a rictus of hateful triumph. "Drop the axe, or the wraith becomes a real ghost." I freeze. The Bond is screaming in terror again, echoing her sudden helplessness. "Your father's killer!" Varric sneers, seeing my hesitation. "Let me have her, and you can walk away with your honor intact. You can tell your clan you avenged him." He presses the blade harder. A single drop of bright red blood wells up against the pale skin of her throat. "Choose, beast. Vengeance or her."
Earth is pretty much a desolate wasteland since the orcs came over from Protheka, and being a woman, the best you can hope is to be someone's property. Now, after my curvy body catches Korthar's eye, he'll claim me, and I'll serve him, in any way he pleases.
You're mine now. Listen to this story and more when you get the complete Orc Warriors of Protheka audiobook and ebook bundle.
40 books, 19 audiobooks, 19 ebooks. You even get 1 free novella and 1 free audiobook.
All for a shocking 90% off.
Protheka's magic is eternal, and the complete Orc Warriors of Protheka bundle will bring over 100 hours of that magic to you. Chapter 28. Lynn. The heat from the burning wagon above me is searing, blistering the skin on my upturned palms as I hold the kinetic shield in place. My arms shake violently. Every muscle in my body is screaming, tearing under the tonnage of burning oak and iron. But the real agony is watching Mogor. He stands 10 feet away, a mountain of indecision. Varric's dagger is biting into my skin, a razor-thin line of pain against my throat. I can feel the warm trickle of blood starting. "Choose," Varric hisses, his breath smelling of mint and rot right next to my ear. Mogor looks at me. His yellow eyes are raw, stripped of all their usual fierce certainty. He sees the killer who orphaned him. He sees the mate who betrayed him. And he sees the woman he loves about to die. The vow dies in that moment. I feel it wither through the bond, replaced by a terrified, overwhelming need to keep me breathing. His massive hands uncurl. The axe, his father's axe, the instrument of his vengeance, slips from his fingers. It hits the mud with a wet thud that sounds like a surrender. "Let her go," he rumbles, his voice broken. Varric laughs, a triumphant, ugly sound. "See, little ghost, I told you, everyone breaks." He won. He broke the unbreakable orc. Rage, hot and purifying, floods my veins, overriding the exhaustion. I will not let this happen. I will not let him turn Mogor into a slave because of me. "Mogor!" I scream, my voice cracking from the smoke and strain. "Don't you dare surrender!" "Shut up!" Varric snaps, pressing the blade deeper. I feel it grate against my windpipe. I don't shut up. I look Mogor dead in the eye, pouring every ounce of my love and regret down the bond. "Forgive me." I am holding tons of burning debris above us with my mind. Varric thinks I am trapped by it. He forgets that I am the one holding the leash of this particular monster. I don't try to push it away. I pull it down. I collapse the shield. Gravity reasserts itself instantly. The burning wagon crashes down with a sound like the world ending. Varric screams, trying to scramble backward, but he was too close, too confident. He is not fast enough. I am. I just roll, throwing myself into the small gap between the wagon's massive iron-rimmed wheels. The impact shakes the earth. Heat and sparks shower over me. I hear wood shatter, metal groan, and beneath it all, the wet, sickening crunch of Varric getting caught by the falling carriage. This wagon is a pocket of hell. Burning beams are inches from my face. The smoke is instantaneous, thick and choking. Lynn! The wreckage above me shifts. A massive charred beam is ripped away, letting in the cool night air. Mogor is there. He is tearing the burning wagon apart with his bare hands, ignoring the fire that licks at his skin. He finds me, reaching down into the fire. I stumble into his chest, coughing, covered in ash and soot. He grips me hard, his hands frantic as they check me for broken bones, for deep burns. "You foolish, stubborn female," he growls, but his voice is thick with relief. "You could have died." "I had to," I rasp. "He was going to take you." A sound from the wreckage stops us, a groan. We turn. Varric is not dead. The wagon crushed his lower half, pinning him to the mud, but he is still alive, clawing feebly at the dirt, his beautiful face a mask of agony and soot. Mogor releases me gently. He walks over to where his axe fell and picks it up. The leather grip fits his hand like it was born there. He walks back to Varric. He stands over the broken elf, looking down without an ounce of pity in his yellow eyes. "My father begged for death," Mogor says, his voice low, rumbling like approaching thunder. "Because he was a warrior, and he feared being broken." Varric spits blood, glaring up at him with undimmed hate. "Kill me then, beast. Finish your pathetic vow." Mogor looks at me. The bond is quiet now, steady and sure. The conflict is gone. He sees me, wraith, mate, liar, lover, and he accepts it all. "My vow was to avenge him," Mogor says, turning back to Varric. "You are the one who ordered his torture. You are the one who broke him." He raises the axe. It is not a joyful thing. It is work. It is taking out the trash. "The wraith gave him mercy," Mogor says, and I feel the forgiveness hit me through the bond, a wave of pure, absolving heat. "I give you none." The axe falls. It is a clean, brutal stroke. Varric's head rolls into the mud, the expression of arrogant hate frozen on his dead face. It is over. Mogor stands there for a long moment, breathing heavily in the silence that follows the chop. The burning wagon crackles behind him, a funeral pyre for our enemy. He turns to me. He is covered in blood and ash, terrifying and beautiful. He holds out his hand. It is a simple gesture, but it means everything. It is an invitation, a pardon. I walk to him, placing my small, soot-stained hand in his massive one. He closes his fingers around mine, tight and secure. "Come," he says softly. "Let's go home."
Chapter 29. Mogor. The camp is a graveyard of smoldering wood and cooling bodies. I pull her from the wreckage of the wagon. She is shaking, covered in soot and ash, but she is whole. She is alive. I hold her against my chest, not caring about the blood that slicks my armor, not caring about the filth. The bond is quiet now, a steady, powerful hum that feels like the earth settling after an earthquake. "Are they all dead?" she whispers into my leathers. "The guild is dead," I rumble, looking around. Varric is a ruin in the mud. His assassins are scattered corpses. The mercenaries fled. A few survivors, slaves who were in the other wagons, are creeping out of the shadows. They look at me with utter terror. A blood-drenched orc standing amidst a slaughter he created. "Go!" I tell them, jerking my head toward the east. "The human settlements are that way. Do not stop until you reach them." They don't need to be told twice. They grab what supplies they can scavenge and vanish into the night, eager to be away from the monsters. Both the dead ones and the living one. We are alone. The silence that descends is heavy. It is just us, the crackle of dying fires, and the truth that has been standing between us for days. I look down at her. She is not looking at me. She is looking at Varric's body. "He was right," she says hollowly. "I am a killer. That is all I will ever be." "No," I say. I put a finger under her chin, forcing her to look up at me. Her eyes are dark pools of guilt. "He was a killer. You are a survivor." I lead her away from the carnage, finding a spot near the outer ring of the clearing where the air is cleaner. I sit on a fallen log and pull her between my legs. I need her close. I need to feel the heat of her skin to assure myself that she didn't die in that cage. "Tell me again," I say quietly, "about my father." She flinches, trying to pull away, but I hold her fast. "Mogor, please don't make me... Tell me." She takes a shuddering breath. She tells me. She doesn't spare herself. She tells me about the smell of the dungeon, the sounds of his pain, the exact words he used when he asked for the end. It hurts to hear it. It tears at wounds that have never fully healed. But as I listen, really listen this time without the roar of the vow deafening me, I hear the truth. I hear his dignity. I hear how she gave it back to him when they tried to take it away. Tears are streaming down her soot-stained face when she finishes. "I'm sorry," she whispers. "I am so sorry." I wipe the tears away with my thumbs. They leave clean tracks in the grime. "You gave him mercy," I say, the realization settling into my bones, heavy and solid as iron. "That is not murder, Lynn. That is honor. It is a harder thing than I have ever had to do." Her eyes widen. She searches my face, looking for the lie, looking for the hidden hatred. She finds only the truth. "I forgive you," I tell her. "And he would have too. He did when he asked you to do it." She breaks. A sob tears out of her, and she buries her face in my neck, crying violently. It is a storm of released tension, of guilt finally being laid down after too many years of carrying it alone. I just hold her. I let her cry until she has nothing left, rocking her slowly. When she finally quiets, she doesn't pull away. She stays pressed against me, her breathing hitching occasionally. "You came for me?" she murmurs into my skin. "Even when you hated me." "I never hated you," I confess. "I hated myself for wanting you." I pull back enough to kiss her. It tastes of smoke and salt tears, but beneath that it tastes like her, like home. The bond flares suddenly white-hot. It is not the desperate, angry heat of our first time, nor the gentle, tentative warmth of the cave. This is a blazing inferno of absolute certainty. Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for this platform.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by this platform's guidelines.
To get the full, unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable. Chapter 30. Lynn. I wake up, and at last I am not afraid. The forest is still damp, the air still cold, but the hollow ache that has defined my life since the guild first took me is gone. It has been replaced by a pervasive, anchoring warmth that radiates from the massive arm draped over my waist. Mogor is asleep beside me, his breathing deep and steady. He is a mountain of a man, scarred and terrifying, yet in sleep, his face is eased of its usual fierce vigilance. I shift slightly, and his arm tightens instinctively, pulling me closer even in unconsciousness. The bond hums, a contented golden sound in the back of my mind. It is no longer a shackle. It is a root system, digging deep, tying me to the earth, to him. I am not the Wraith anymore. The Wraith was a ghost, a creature of silence and solitude. I am Lyn. I am Iron Tusk. I press my hand to his chest, feeling the slow, powerful thud of his heart. The heart I nearly broke, the heart that forgave me anyway. Thank you, I whisper to whatever gods might be listening in this forsaken place. We spend the morning scavenging the ruins of Varric's caravan. It is grisly work, stepping over the bodies of men and elves I might have trained with once. But we need supplies. Mogor finds a crate of dried rations that survived the fire. I find something better. In Varric's personal saddlebags, miraculously unburned, is a leather scroll case. I open it with trembling fingers. Inside is a map of Raich, highly detailed, marked with syndicate outposts and patrol routes. And there, far to the north, circled in angry red ink, is a notation. Orc insurgent activity, sanctuary confirmed, high priority target. Mogor, I call out, my voice echoing in the quiet clearing. He comes to me, his axe resting easily on his shoulder. He looks at the map, his yellow eyes narrowing as he traces the red circle. Grook, he rumbles, a slow smile spreading across his face. It changes him entirely, making him look younger, less burdened. He did it. The stubborn bastard actually built it. It's real, I say, the relief making my knees weak. We aren't just running into the wilderness. We're going home. We pack what we can carry. I take a new cloak from a dead mercenary. It is wool, warm and dry, and it doesn't smell of my past. I stand over Varric's body one last time. The scavengers have already started on him. He doesn't look like a master assassin anymore. He just looks like meat. He was wrong, I say quietly. Mogor moves to stand beside me, his presence a solid wall of heat against my side. About what? He said I would always be a killer, that I would break you. I look up at him, at the tusks and the scars and the fierce, unwavering love in his eyes. He didn't know what we are. He knew only death, Mogor says, taking my hand. His grip engulfs mine, calloused and gentle. We know life. He turns me away from the carnage, away from the south, away from everything I used to be. We stand at the edge of the clearing, facing north. The wind is colder that way, carrying the faint, salty tang of the distant ocean. It smells clean. The road ahead is long. The syndicate is still out there, and they will come for us again. Varric was just one master. There are others. But I am not afraid. I have my magic. I have my mate. Are you ready, little witch? Mogor asks, squeezing my hand. I look at the map tucked into his belt, the map that leads to brothers I have yet to meet, to a clan that might hate me before they learn to accept me. It won't be easy. Nothing with us ever is. I smile, and for the first time it feels completely real. Yes, I say. We step forward together, leaving the ghosts behind us in the mud. We walk toward the coast, toward the clan, toward the future we chose for ourselves.
Epilogue. Grook. The axe bites deep into the ironwood trunk, the impact vibrating all the way up to my shoulders. It is good work, hard work. It is the work of building a life, not just surviving one. I pause, wiping sweat from my brow with a dirt-stained forearm. The wind in northern Raich is brutal today, carrying the promise of early snow, but I barely feel the cold. I look toward the cabin. Eve is there, kneeling in the small patch of cleared earth she has stubbornly turned into a garden. She is bundled in thick furs. I tanned for her, her hands deep in the dark soil as she tends to the hardy mountain herbs she found. It is a strange, fierce kind of peace, a lovely picture painted in grays and greens against the harsh landscape. We have carved this sanctuary out of the wilderness with our bare hands, and I will kill anything that tries to take it from us. Ching chime. The sound is faint, barely a whisper over the rustling pine needles, but it hits my ears like a thunderclap. It comes from the southern perimeter, the tripwire connected to the bronze bells I rigged weeks ago. I freeze. The builder dies instantly. The warrior takes his place. Eve looks up, hearing the change in my stillness. Grook? Inside, I snarl, already moving toward her. I grab her arm, perhaps too roughly, hauling her to her feet. Get inside, bar the door, do not open it unless you hear my voice. She doesn't argue. She sees the look in my eyes. She drops her trowel and runs for the cabin. I wait only long enough to hear the heavy wooden bar drop into place before I turn south. I melt into the underbrush. I am a ghost in my own territory. I know every root, every stone, every shadow. Nothing good comes from the south. It could be a syndicate scouting party, finally having tracked us down. It could be worse. My grip tightens on my axe until the leather creaks. If they have found us, they will not find prey. They will find only death. I crest the small ridge overlooking the southern game trail, keeping low behind a screen of dense ferns. I see them. 2 figures stumbling through the mud. One is massive, a mountain of exhausted muscle covered in layers of dried blood and filth that obscure his green skin. The other is small, human, wrapped in a cloak that swallows her frame. I shift my weight, preparing to charge. A lone orc with a human captive, or perhaps a raider with a slave. Either way, he is trespassing. Then the wind shifts, carrying their scent to me. I stop dead. My heart hammers against my ribs, a sudden, violent rhythm that has very little to do with battle. I know that scent. It is sweat and iron and the salt of the sea we sailed together before the world burned down around us. Mogor? I rumble, stepping out of the shadows. The massive figure jerks to a halt. He is swaying on his feet, but he raises his axe instantly. He steps in front of the human female, shielding her with his own battered body. Defensive, lethal. I know that stance. I know that look in his wild, exhausted yellow eyes. It is the same look I see in the mirror every time I think of someone threatening Eve. He sees me. The aggression doesn't leave him, but it is suddenly mixed with a staggering, knee-buckling relief. Brother, he croaks, his voice